All right, we're live in studio. So, good afternoon, a pleasant good afternoon to all the wonderful fans in Jamaica and all over the world. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Ian and Ian. So, you don't know, we got Ian Thomas, the health and wellness specialist, and you got Ian Weekly, the former Olympian. And we got one of the true legend ambassador for Rastafari in studio. So we just want to welcome Mr. Yasus Afari. So before that, I'm gonna let you hear from Mr. Ian Thomas before.
Yes, special greetings to all our fans or followers. This afternoon, I could not be more honored to have in our presence Mr. Yasus Afari, a man who have represented the Rastafarian culture, who have taken it across the world, in so many nations. He has now been the
All right,
edutainer,
we're live. Yes, special greeting.
edutainer who will really dig deep into the whole culture and a lot of things that he's been doing. So anyone who don't know the real history, well, this afternoon we have with us the man himself in living colors, music, dub poetry, entertainment and a whole. Mr. Yasus Afari, welcome to the platform, Ian and Ian.
Yeah, give thanks is an honor. The honor is mutual. Except that we want to know if they shed the mist thing.
All right. Well received. Well received. Well received.
Yes, we love the IDM initiative and what they're doing. And we always have a vision of merging what I call edutainment with sports because there's a similarity, It's all about creative expression. And there's always a platform to express positivity, to use our natural talents and resources to empower ourselves and to empower others. So we're in good company. It's family, and plus we have STETHS again, our alma mater, which again is a formidable foundation that we have all benefited from, and that we all continue to support and to nurture, just like we have been nurtured.
All right. Well said. Well said. So, guys, you hear it from the legend himself. We're going to change we're going to go to the legend now. So you hear from him himself that, we are from the noble institution of Santa Cruz in St. Elizabeth, and we're here representing our institution where it all started. I know we just here to educate, motivate, and to inspire others with, one of the, like I said, the icon, one of the men that have laid the foundation when it comes down to poetry and music, philosopher, and he's also an author. So we're gonna hear a lot about the legacy. So we're gonna get right into it, and as usual, we're gonna go way back from the childhood days, just for a little bit, just for some of the viewers them that want to know more about, never take the time. So just give us a little preview and a little summary of where exactly in St. Elizabeth, one of the best parish in Jamaica, are you from? And, just tell us a little bit about your community, where you grew up, and, just bring us back a little bit and give us a little history.
Right. Well, it's a parish called St. Elizabeth, southeastern Jamaica. It is affectionately called St. Bess. It is an agricultural community. It is one of the most typical parishes in Jamaica. And by that we mean it has all the topography, the environmental conditions, the ethnic groups, soil conditions. So it's an interesting parish. And I'm from a district called Rose Hall and a sub-community called Hamilton Town. Affectionately, it's called Hamilton Town. Most of the people here are from the Hamilton clan. And so that's where we were born. And when we were 10, we moved to an area that we call Hillview Heights, but same Rosal. We attended Rosal All-Age School, Rosal Basic School, Rosal All-Age School, Junction Secondary, now called BB Co Comprehensive. And then in 1975, we attended St. Elizabeth Technical High School, STETHS. And we grew up in a farming community. We were born in a one-room mud hut. One of my sister quarreled with me and I said mud hut. Like here's the house. So mud house. and one room, Daba Wackle, jealousy win that kick and buck, latrine round there, so tank round there, so no electricity, no running water. You know, we used to go states at times, so we used to walk 6 miles to Cheapside to catch a bus, Kappa bus, and Robertson bus. And we also used to walk the same 6 miles to Junction when we were attending Junction Secondary School. So, you know, I mean, rural life is almost like it's a paradox. The poverty of riches and the riches of poverty. We were supposed to have been poor, but it took us decades to recognize that maybe we were, or maybe we were not, because we were so happy, well-fed, disciplined, respectful, work hard, and conquer poverty, ignorance, and injustice.
All right, well said, well said, well said. So one of the familiarities that I always get from most of the southern southeast St. Elizabeth, they transitioned from to BB Coke and then STETHS. So it's similar for you. So just tell us about, we always want to give a shout out to BB Coke because they have came a long way, and we're happy that the education have elevated now that everybody's on the same level. STETHS, BB Cook, and former Junction Secretary. So just tell us a little bit about your early days going to BB Cook. How long did you spend there, and what was it like? What did you do when you was in school, in terms of? I know you might play some football and thing, and what was your early passion back then when you was going to BB Cook?
Well, when I was going, as it was Junction Secondary
Junction,
at the
yeah,
time,
right.
subsequently BB Cook, we were the last batch of students who did the technical entrance. We did the common entrance for Monroe. We were not successful in that. And then we were successful when we were at Junction, and we were the last batch of students that did the technical entrance at that time. Well, we were going to BB Cook really. I never have any passion for sports really. I mean, not me having the passion really for sports. No, at States we dabble a little in basketball, badminton, shot put, discus, but not a very serious. Not certainly, and not no way incomparable to any of you.
All right.
But just enough to satisfy the PE interest and tick the box. But the passion for drama started from Rosal, really. And so
Okay.
we were active in drama in Sunday school. And then at States, we had a play which was a hit called School Days. And we won a silver medal at the National Drama Finals and performed at the Ward Theatre. I was nominated and I got the award for the most outstanding drama student at States for my batch. And so poetry started when I was at States, maybe about 1977. I was asked to write a poem for a class project. We did the AEB, so the Associated Examination Board, that was the O level that we did at the technical school at that time. And so Mrs. Alga McDonald was my English teacher, and I wrote a poem called The Traveling Son. And she read it to the class and said, I must continue writing. And that was kind of an inspiration. So I was known for that. I was in the camera club and the debating club. And so I only spent 1 year at Junction BB Cook. So it was just like a passing through. So there was not much I did there outside of the normal school work. And so States was really the formative years for extracurricular activities and technical education that came into sharp focus.
All right. Well, we're going to get into STETHS a little bit. Over to you, Ian.
Well, Ian, I just want you to know that it's this man here, Yasus, you from Rosal, as you know, that is my trend also coming up, in that same year that I would have attended the same high school, the same all age school, primary school, So there's a great history back there. But what people don't know, Yasus' mother, you know, they say Mrs. Sinclair, I refer to her, but we call her Miss Derry on the hill. She is the mother of the community, and I would not have honored her if I don't let Yasa say something about Miss Derry and her humbleness, and the love that she had for us as students. Remember, even just going to the to the field to train. We didn't have any field right at the school. So we had to go over to, we call it the common. And we had to pass by Miss Derry house. And I tell you, man, if you want a glass of water, you're gonna get it. If there's fruits, you're gonna get it. You know, she treats us so well as kids growing up. So I just want Yasus to take a little time out and just tell us a little bit about mommy, man. You know, where it started. I know that is the early inspiration would have started right in the home there. So Yasus, take it away.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. I'm honored to be given that opportunity because she's a very special woman, and not just because she's my mother. She's just, as you even say, and as other people testify, she's just a loving, kind, resourceful, disciplined, firm, but very kind and gentle at the same time. Hardworking woman, a single mother, as in my case. And so, one of my early poems was "My Mother Who Fathered Me," which was in tribute to her and her resourcefulness and the fact that she never really castigated the man who was not as present as he would have liked. But we were taught and we were encouraged to be respectful in an event. And so that woman was a hardworking woman who go Montego Bay. Every Wednesday she gone to Montego Bay market and I come back until Saturday night. She had a donkey, she farmed, she had 4 children of her own, but she adopted 7. One time I left people asleep and it's not a mad man. we're head and tail in a bed and the most work. So up to now that woman kind of baffle me because would sensible woman where they even have a husband live with that have 4 picnic for herself and adopt 7 more. You know what I mean? So that was the type of woman she was. And in giving you receive and in receiving you give. And she's the very epitome of that. She was a giver, always is. If you hear the story that some people give, I mean, one quick example is that a brethren say, my mother used to buy stuff from him, like tomato and peas and carrot and so on. So my mother said, them not get any pea until the crop done. So she had a book and to write down everything in it. And to make them write it down, make she write it down as well. When the crop finish, she call them in, count off the money, give them, and tell them to go buy block to build them house. Sometimes she order the block herself. If them have a tank, she say you need a tank, your children are grow, you need to add on a room for this one. And she be like a mother to them and they respect it. And one gentleman recently told me that my mom sent him out to buy some stuff with the donkey one day. And while he was away, his wife, his wife became Samuels, Mr. Samuels, you maybe know him from Rosal Square. His wife take in for a baby and my mother said go call him. And him come back now and I give my mother the donkey and the money. My mother said, no, you take the money and go look after your wife. So, I mean, a woman who was financially challenged, was very kind, very generous, very hardworking, and very successful as well. We never short of nothing. When we go to school, people think we are rich people. I know say I want no mud out to burn it, and we don't have no electricity. And then we so she's not alone really. Her story is the story of many women in Jamaica who really work hard to educate them children, even if they didn't have that level of education, and who stand up for discipline and for respect and manners and have brought up and do the best, not just for their own children, but for the community. So it's an honor really to salute the women of Jamaica and on a personal level, my mother who was and still is such a great strength. Good people never die. Energy cannot be created and cannot be destroyed. It only transforms from one state of existence to the next.
Well said. Well said, Yasus. Because I tell you, your mother being loved by the entire community, extended, far reach. That much I can tell you. And it's an honor.
And let me have the opportunity. Me know your mother, your auntie, your father too. But your mother was really fascinating because I kind of always admire twins. Ida and Ida, and them originate from Hambleton down to, as maybe you would have known. And so I don't think we have met physically yet. Me and Ian, the Olympian, I think I met at STETHS some year ago, some years ago.
Yeah.
But we're very. Yeah, I look like your father too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, Yasus, you speaking so highly of mommy. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to speak about somebody else that is in our culture, because I know that in terms of culture,
Miss
you
Lou
have
Yago?
that later on. That
Yeah,
is
man.
later on. That is later on, yes, sir. But I can take it deeper to Nani. How do you view Nani and her contribution to our culture?
Well, it's interesting that you said that because in an article that I did for a magazine we started, I described Miss Lou as the lyrical uh, nanny for poetry. So certainly Nanny of the Maroons, which is our only female shiro, and straight out of Africa, and one of the chief Maroon and family to the more prominent male members of the Maroon community, is a woman who obviously inspire the fortitude and the fierceness and the strength and resourcefulness and the resilience of the Jamaican woman. And the Jamaican women really represent the front bone, the backbone, the side bone, all of the bone them for the Jamaican family and the Jamaican community. And so we give a lot of that credit to Nanny of the Maroons who take up arms and defend the freedom and the dignity and the integrity of our people. And that is how we know it from Mama Africa. We are not a patriarchal society. We are a matriarchal society. We are a balanced society, in fact, of the male female. And so certainly our women, though in the role of subservience, our women are queens and goddesses, stand as equal partners and the mothers of our African family. And so Nani epitomized all of that. And we owe a lot, whether it be Miss Lou, Merlin, Otti, you name them. We owe it to Shelley and Fraser Price, you name them. We owe it to Nani of the Maroons who really show what it is to stand up and fight and defend your dignity and your honor and your integrity and to defend the ancestors and to defend your future and to defend your Africanness. So we give thanks, respect for even the nanny injection they can mean. Seriously, I miss you.
No, well, guess what? Well, you see, since you bring the Miss Lou thing earlier, I had a Miss Lou question there in terms of her impact and the whole dub poetry that I know that is your legacy. You have written so many words and the message that you have spread across the world in terms of whether it's through your music and dub poetry side of it, or just the educational part of it. Miss Lou, what the impact that she had and the legacy that she had and the whole Jamaican culture and even the African culture, what she have done over the years. So you get to talk about Miss Lou right away.
Well, yes, I mean, it's always an honor to whom much is given, much is required, and we have received so much from Miss Lou. Miss Lou is like the linguistic and cultural mother of Jamaica. And you know that language is very important because you think in the language that you speak, and the language that you speak shape and dictate your thinking. And so the European, as part of the colonial conquest, was really to cut out the tongue and implant their tongue, be it the French, the English, the Belgian, the British, and whatever. That happened for a reason because you think in the language that you speak, and the language that you speak shape and dictate your thinking. And so for the thing to have work, they would have to reverse your language. You would have to own and possess and inhabit and colonize your head. And so what Miss Lou did now by giving credence and honor and authenticity and recognition and pride of place to the Jamaican language is really to reconstruct with thinking and reconstruct with tongue and reconstruct with perception of ourselves and of the world and of African ancestry. And so you couldn't escape Miss Lou growing up in Jamaica because she's such a larger than life person. And then the popular ring ding show was always there, and she traveled across the island. And our work were so infectious and continue to be that she was really a woman who you look up to as a mother, and a woman who, when you listen to her, she's full of so much bubbly life, positivity, and hope that she was a source of strength and continue to be after being in existence for over 100 years. We recently celebrated our centenary. And so we are the poets and cultural practitioners of Jamaica, and all people of Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the African diaspora. We owe a lot to Miss Lou, and we continue to revel in her work, and we continue to be nurtured by her work. So it's always an honor to pay tribute to such an honorable and such a formidable poet, liberator. We say if Miss Lou never take up comedy and poetry, she maybe would have take up the M16. So you're lucky.
All right.
Yes, sir. I'm so happy that we got you to come on here, man, because I don't think anybody else would be able to lay it out on the table that you have laid it out. Simple, but yet still captivating, that even a young man who have just start grasping a little of the history would have so much to take away in just what you have just said a while ago. So, respect and honor, man. So I'm gonna turn it back over to Ian, because I know you have some burning question over there. You have to watch him, Yasus.
All right, give thanks.
All right. All right. Well, yeah. So I'm just going to continue the journey. Right now I'm at STETHS. We cover the community, and we know the journey through BB Coke was for a short stop, but we give honor for them still. So let's talk about the history of STETHS. Just man, I don't even know where to start, but I want us to tell us about summarize when you just get at STETHS. I know I deal with ragging and stuff. How was that first day at school for you when you get down to Santa Cruz?
Wow. Good man. If you never ask me that, but your answer still. First of all, me grew up in a family of so woman, you have to say. So I learn from the women, and I never like give away my age, but we can make an exception this time around. As two Stetsonians, because she went the history with you since you're talking about the history at STETHS. You know that STETHS should have opened on my birthday.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea if you know the history of the school. And the money, I think they had some financial challenge, so it was staggered until October. So there's a kind of synchronicity and a harmony with my STETHS that it's special, because STETHS was to have opened on my birthday. And because of the financial challenge that the government had, it was staggered for like a while. So in a sense, STETHS came into being on my birthday. And so I attended STETHS in 1974 when Aine Kamosi, Cecil Campbell, as he was called, and was just leaving. And so I started by boarding at Langwood, some Hutchinson, Mass Menzie, and Miss Hazel. We had a son called Dead Lion. You could hear about Dead Lion with a longboat bicycle. Terrence James used to be there. One you named Tony and Scary, and then people there. So the first day we got the one you named Peter Scott, Lascelles and Hugh Brown, Lascelles, Lawrence, Hugh Brown, and Peter Scott were there. And I was in the presence of my mother. And them start keep up them little arms house right there, so the ragging people. And so the name when the STETHS people them know me as JT is the brother named Peter Scott give me the name there. Because when me tell him the John thing there, the John Sinclair thing there, him laugh and say, "Oh, you mean JT?" And so him go STETHS go brand me that way there now. So it's almost like a rebirth in the presence of my mother, close to my birthday, because school always home almost on my birthday, I'm here early September, man. And so that was that. And so we get some ragging there, and it was nothing that I found to be positive. However, you know how it go. We pass on some hits still. We have to fight. But I want to say, when we are passing on, them will have to see me come, me and my crew, Pluto and Pui and some other man, them will have to see we are coming. Them start shake all in them socks and shoes. After a while, we ease our fight still and the still like a bit different. But that was the baptism that we got. Mr. Pattinger, who we call affectionately Bugs, was the principal during our time, and the entrepreneurship, which we spoke of earlier, E.T., Ian Thomas,
Yes, sir.
was started by my mom, but certainly brought to another level by John Pattinger. I was in the camera club and also on the magazine committee. So I interviewed Bugs for the school magazine. So I know a lot of the history that some of the average students maybe wouldn't have known. Because STETHS acquired 600 acres of land while we were there. We dig 2 wells, any amount of cow, tractor, perimeter fence, A-level block, sick bay, dormitory, tuck shop, guidance counseling center. We instituted an A-level program. We did the pavilion area, we whole range of stuff. So much so that the Michael Manley government at the time took back 500, that $500,000, 500,000 unexpended funds from the school. Because you know how governments go, unspent budgetary allocations are retrieved by the government. And so, interestingly, the current Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, his father was one of my teachers, the agricultural science teacher, Mr. Holness. The Pusai man, but he was a very good man, and he were close to Mr. Pattinger to make the successful entrepreneurial program that really set the foundation for STETHS. So we did not just excel in sports and in agriculture, but in academics, we produced, at that time it was almost unknown for us to be producing lawyers and medical doctors. And so we started that trend in Jamaica as well. And as we said, we instituted the A-level program. We also, as a technical school, did sociology. I was a sociology student as well. And so STETHS was really a formative institution, self-sufficient in food. We could eat any amount of food that we can eat, a canteen. And so it was really a good time for us. And we learned so much, and we were so inspired. And we are really grateful for what STETHS has done for us and continue to do for us and Jamaica.
All right, well said, well said. Well, guys, we hear some STETHS history, Jamaican history, so we're going to continue this history. So I want to talk about, I don't know when the last time you was able to get on the campus, but I know that we was there together for the STETHS reunion in 2009.
No, because it's in the same pandemic era.
All right. So the question that I want to ask you, what's the difference? What's some of the difference when you was there to what you're seeing now? Like in terms of infrastructure and development and just the school itself, the running of the school.
Well, I was not that intimate with it now as I was then, or as I was maybe 10 years ago. But we impressed the last several times over there. The school well kept, looking good, clean, and we see some infrastructure still in place. We realize that discipline is a challenge in Jamaica, but we see improvement in there. At least there was a time in the 90s when I, along with many others, were very concerned. The discipline, the upkeep of the school was really nothing like that we were accustomed to. But I want to say in the last 10 years, and you maybe have to give some credit to the current principal, we have seen improvement in many areas as a school life, in infrastructure. We have seen improvement in continued success and improvement in sports, in academics as well, in infrastructure development, and in keeping the community together, inclusive of the past students. And we have to big up man like Gary Samuels, who was one of the principal person who really bring about the reunion and the past student association. And at the time, I think it was 2008, the very first one, that was the 48th anniversary. I did the comedy show at STETHS, and we bought 2 computers and 2 printers, give the school courtesy of poetry, which my poetry started at STETHS. I started working on a band at STETHS as well. So we figured we had a moral responsibility to give that support to the school. In the 50th anniversary celebration, when we did the comedy show, I actually gave $100,000 to the school from the proceeds. We are not totally satisfied with how that has been managed, but there is still hope, because the objective at the time and the consensus and the agreement with people involved like Hilary Hansen, the principal, Miss Osborne, Donna Hendricks, Gary himself, among others, was really to start the Clacking, Balfour Clacking as well, to start the John Pattinger Entrepreneurial Center. That has not been done as yet. but we are still hopeful that STETHS will rise to the occasion and honor both in that regard. I have challenged the former Minister of Education, who is now our Prime Minister, to use the STETHS model to drive entrepreneurship in school and across Jamaica. And I have recently submitted a proposal to Jamaica National Bank, and I've copied Tilwell Hanson, who is a member of the executive there, to again propose to them and to the government to set up the National Entrepreneurial Center of Jamaica, modeled off STETHS. Because you know what I mean? Remember, STETHS won the Expo 77 at the National Arena. We did build the prototype for something that the national government modeled in Goshen, namely the cassava mill. And so we want to see the local community and education driving entrepreneurship, driving policy changes and models for development for the country. STETHS set that example.
All right, again, guys, we got some history.
It's true. It's true.
Some serious history of STETHS, and we really appreciate that history. You know, I'm gonna move a little bit back to the boarding, and then I'll send you back over to Ian. So back at the time, I know, you know, people was taking the bus home from school, and you know, I know that got to be a lot of traveling, but you was fortunate to be able to board in Longwood. You know, so I'm saying that fortunate because I know many other people that was taking the bus. So tell us a little bit about how that make a difference. I'm from Montego Bay, so I actually board, but how boarding starting to develop you to be more independent and starting to be a young man at the time, you know, just living away from your parents, and how difficult was that for you?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, not to know. Yeah, because we never even think about that yet. But yes, this was an interesting injunction in terms of developing your independence, your autonomy, and a sense of personal awareness and responsibility. And the people that I was boarding with, the Mas Menzi and Miss Hazel and the extended family, they were so kind and supportive. Them I hope me I let the push out of the back, but even when they raise the boarding fee, then about I raise my own card, you know, so the struggle real. And I was
Similar
a discipline, was a discipline you to them kind of love, and you know, me work with the program and thing. Well, my sister, me have to give thanks for her. My sister Jasmine Winter, she was the head of the Runaway Be Heart Academy, and she met in a tragic motor vehicle accident in 1994 on Spurtree Hill. Why you could have put on your pat on the fire with fear money, as she pay me the boarding and sort out the pocket money and help with my little farming, my little cucumber garden and garden and salad garden and little pepper tree, them cayenne pepper where we sell, and you know, we go whereas you to learn to help yourself, and so that kind of takes some of the pressure off of my mother. But maybe it wasn't enough. So we did have to beat down the walking again. Because we did do the 1 year sentence there, walking to Junction, you know, from Rosal. So E.T. can tell you, guys, St. James, man, you may even know the runnings.
We
6 miles.
We bring him assault, man.
Eh?
We
So,
bring up the ones.
all right, so you know the runnings, that 6 mile beating there. No normal. And so, boy, I'm glad to get the little release on the states, but the money couldn't stretch. And certain little things, so we did have to beat down another sentence, and then we couldn't manage it again. And so they board me out of Southfield, and me take the Capo bus.
Okay.
And boy, that never normal, because again, the teacher say you can't live with your heart in your mouth. Because when Capo take the, you know Capo bus? Anyone know a Capo bus?
No, sir, boy, my man don't know when he come up, you know.
Oh, you know, hear about Capo bus? We run from Southfield down to Malvern Hill and Leeds. You need to find somebody when about Capo and tell you that, man. When Capo
Mark,
drop,
you're gonna get Mark Senior.
Yes, Mark can tell you. When Capo take corner, all your ears touch ground. So you know, say, when we go to school and I come back, man, your heart in your mouth, so we learn to live. Then a couple of years with our heart in our mouth, a man in a eating time. And so those were experiences again, which again to where Ian, the Olympian, boarding give you that sense of responsibility. And then the walking again make you realize that the struggle real. If you get up early, you go home early, and if you study in your personal lamp, home sweet home lamp, and if you get up in time, and if you walk and catch the bus. And me as a youth now, even though me have Rasta energy in me from them time, me a youth is slick and clean, me carry on, me polish, like, and my shoes goes like a cha-cha boy, and me afro pick, and you don't know the new water thing go. And the red dot will just clean up that quick as we go bathroom and slick and stay. So if those were lessons that we learned and which we still apply, even up to now. And so again, boarding and traveling, compounding those two layers, they also had their own benefits as well. Because you would have known that even the females kind of through the boy them make we take bush. And when we are big man, we take shop place, feed the girls more in the home and learn certain sense of responsibility because they have to cook, so they have to learn measurement. They invest a certain level of confidence in them. So no wonder the females mature a little bit more early. So some of these things that we did, and unfortunately we have responsible people who we boarded with, really inculcated some of those values in us. And so up to now, me is a rounded man, we learn to wash your clothes and so on, we look about and iron and cook and clean from them time. So these are some of the attributes and benefits. And any woman will come near me still know say, I know them can't find them way in my heart through my belly. Me I find the way in them heart through them belly too. Because
Yeah,
we
All
have cooked
right.
some meal.
yeah,
And we
yeah.
have keep clean, and as we wake up out of the bed, we have spread that. And if we have iron, guess what we do? And we learn this at States and at cars. We put with choices under the mattress. And tomorrow we have a seam can cut your throat too.
Uh, well, I'm telling you, man. I just want to I just want to add something on what you said in terms of the boarding. I know that I've been on my own, and when I said I'm on my own, with all due respect to my parents, it's no form of disrespect or anything. But I've been on my own since 13 years old. When I head to Santa Cruz, my father was so happy. I mean, he would have paid every single money in his pocket to say, you know what, I'm shipping you off. You're going up to the
Yeah,
country.
yeah, the bad boy.
Well, I don't think so, but he said I used to follow company, but
No matter
don't.
what you think, a fisherman never say free fish bad. You,
Well, look, those same guys that they're saying that those guys are the one that teach me to cook. Like right now we used to cook a little food and thing. The little thing we used to do is look mango and things like that. And sometimes you go to bed late and you can't wake up in the morning. And my father leave to go work 5 o'clock, so you know I have to wake myself up and sometimes oversleep. And it just when him come back from work, me just start get some lick. Me just start boop boop boop. So anyway, um, just want to elaborate. But me know the boarding for me. What I want to give credit to the boarding and all the families of Santa Cruz, Longwood, Jerusalem, Institution Drive, Burnt Grung, Mr.
Pagan Drive.
Yeah, Big and Drive, you know. So all of those people, they have been a fundamental support to STETHS development, for the outer people from the outer town people to come in and just to mingle. And then the people of St. Elizabeth is warm and welcome, that some of the greatest and the best people I meet, they're from Southern St. Elizabeth. I mean, I started to pick up the slang and we say, I know man and wagwan, and I never heard those talking before. But shout out to all the man from Southfield, St. Elizabeth Junction, and all of that. And just want to
Bulsa
say,
Valley
Bulsa
and
Valley,
Ballas Valley and Camapen,
Treasure.
Alligator Pond,
All right.
Treasure Beach, Rosal, Red Bank, Caline, Monimouth, Dalton. Yeah, man, me love what I say a while ago, true that too. Yeah, very, very well said. In terms of how the community in Santa Cruz and the wider community supported the school and the students from St. James and Westmoreland, from Hanover, Trelawney, as far as Kingston and St. Andrew, Clarendon, and so on. Yeah, that was really an important part of the whole STETHS experience.
All right. But go ahead.
Yeah, I could touch on that too, Yassas. It's a privilege because all three of us get that privilege to board out. And I can tell you, I was with a lady in Pagan Drive.
Oh,
Ooh,
you
this
used to
lady.
board too?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
You
I
loved
used to
it?
I used to do track and field in the early, Yassas, but you know, I was injury prone, so I get a hit it over the forehead there, and boy almost write me off. And mommy say, "Yo, I hit that." so so
Fully
really,
family.
yeah, man, she take me out of the track and field, but me say, "Mommy, you still have to leave me in one of the sports, at least one." And because when I was at Rosal, I was champion boy for Rosal school for years, Every year
Okay,
me I win.
who was the
Huh?
principal at your time? Mr. Crawford?
Mr. Quafford, so you know that was gonna lead me to the next question for you. So I'm gonna hold up there in the
Yeah.
discipline. But this lady in Santa Cruz, Miss Rose Strong, this woman had taught me some principles that not even my mother would be able to teach me those stuff. So I'm happy for the boarding life, because the spiritual side of me, she was the one who really established that, that passion and that have basically lived on with me up to today's date. And my mother at the time, I would not be able to give that part to me because she was not that inclined into the spirituality part of it. So I will give up to Miss Strong and the discipline. She taught us discipline. I know you would have used to going to Sunday school, being with Miss Derry. So when I go to Santa Cruz, that lady said, Ian, anytime you know the track and field, or you know go to cricket, or you done up on the weekend, you have to go to church. So certain discipline was instilled in me from a tender age. So I give it up to all of the people who open up their home to others, give unto us that we needed. So some of those things we needed it. So we just got shout out to that. But no, yes, sir, so I'm gonna go back now to
No,
discipline.
hold on, my brother, well said. Give thanks for that too. And we could salute Mama Africa and the proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child. And there's a saying in Africa, Ubuntu, I am because we are. So we still have to pass on those values and those capsules of wisdom. It takes a village to raise a child, and I am because we are. Yeah, man, give thanks.
Definitely, man. Respect for that line. And this is it now, Yassas, because I know you is a disciplinarian. All your journey, I could never hear Yassas name called with nothing unethical or anything. It's always positivity when it comes to Yassas. And what I want to know now is disciplinarian in your life, Rosal school, since you spend most time at Rosal and STETHS, and you talk about John Pattiger, so we can't talk about John Pattiger, but who was your principal in Rosal and the discipline that they would have instilled in you as a youth? So could you
Well,
talk about those two disciplinarians?
ask your mother and your father about Mother Brown.
All right, mommy, I watch, mommy, I watch.
Mommy, you know, you're not telling about Miss Brown. We have one leather strap. You go want to get one of that. Mother Brown, she live up at the cottage and she have
Okay.
adopted that Miss Leila and Hope and Faith and Ioli Dakri. But the woman there, the woman there, boy, I don't know if it's about she, but when you talk about a disciplinarian, but she's a good teacher and she's a good woman, Miss Olive Brown. But you see, when you talk about late, she meet you at the gate, out of where they sell the drops and the disorder. and she not afraid to put it on by you. And she was a woman with plus Miss Alexander again. Hazel Alexander was like
Well,
a
me know
second.
about her.
But and she couldn't match Miss Brown. And you have one woman named we call Shiras.
Wow.
You hear about Shiras?
No, man, the history at say it's a good thing we get you on here, man.
When she was Miss Hazel's sister named Miss Ray. You know why they call her? Them people are my friend, so they understand when me I talk. They know me I keep it real with respect, no disrespect. She had a little beard as a woman, so they call her Shiras. She used to teach me that grade 4. So those was strict disciplinarian. They know my mother now, as you said. Don't forget, say my mother house overlook the school.
Yes, man.
And she used to call me Tony. So you say if me in a reach home by 5 minutes, she will come out on the big rock out of our house and say, Tony! And the whole school come find me. So coupled with the home and the school and the community. Because you know, in our community, a man have to be related to you.
No,
Him can yeah, ma report it to your mother, or him will call you up and discipline you. If you get a conk, you will get it too. And if you complain to your mother, you get two more. And so really the village and as you say, you know, it's not just your child you look out for, you look out for the entire community. If you notice that the cooperative movement in Jamaica, who a lot of credit when we are on boat and when we are farm, you carry like a cocoa, you carry firewood, you carry like a water, and you cook a one pot, and everything in the pot, and then everybody get for them little outside cocoa leaf. Yes, only you can see you. Them get them thing in them cocoa leaf or calabash, and so it's just a cooperative work where the community come together and help out each other and look out for each other. And we need more of that in the current day Jamaica state. But in my case now, discipline from Mama, Miss Brown, Miss Rel, Miss Alexander, as well as the other members of staff, really gave us that groundation. We used to attend St. Mary School, St. Mary Church, up by St. Mary. And then when we were going states, we used to go to Waterloo. So the church also played an important role in our discipline and our spirituality.
All right, touch on Patinja statesman now. Because we hear everybody talk about Patinja. I never have a chance to meet him or anything. So tell us a little about that part now, the states disciplinarian.
Well, him a one man is like a judge. Man like a short man, we call him Bugs. Him serious like a judge, but we love him and we rate him because what him do for the school, it benefit we. And you can also say him look out for the poor people, them, him institute the 7th grade program, him make sure say the youth them, even if you don't have no money, you can't eat any amount of food at the canteen. And what the man used to do now, you know, them up you them skill level and them extend to the community. So you see when a man left states now, he go to Mr. Evans and Mr. Lurch them. So if you want one like a bed, I want like a bedside table, I want like a center table, any little thing the man them go bring back in car for service. If you want your house, wire electrical department, the little baking thing. So they man they make it function like almost like a country for them own self, every little thing they do. And you benefit from your go to school, but it's a man where him very disciplined and him not afraid to punish and him not afraid to reprimand. As a matter of fact, I never want to talk about this still about two I keep it real. One time I go a metal workshop with my weather. And Mr. Lurch did a keep our head of department and our subject teacher, and I was one of the outstanding. Me, Joel and Leslie Gard, Joel Myers and Leslie Gard, we were the top metalwork students. And so after Mr. Lurch gone, Mr. Henry, who them call son, I don't know where I try. Him tell me if you take off my weatherman hat. So me I tell him, say, well, one rule of the workshop say if you hear long, if you wear your cover on me, consider my hair long. And the very fact that it say if you hear long, you can wear a head covering goes clearly to show that a head covering is not against the rules of the workshop. Why the whole class mash up and a boost me up so him feel embarrassed and step towards me and pull off the weatherman off of me hat, off of my head. And around thing that him doing violate this so you don't know how it come. He just make sure some reprimand him and take it from him. And him get mad and kick over every chair in the workshop and go a Bugs office. And Bugs tell me, say, I'm not come back to class until the school board meet. And I say, you have to come take me out of that. And me just come back to class after lunchtime. But between that now, what's the brother name again? Laro. You remember Laro? Anyway, Laro don't be here for me. Lodge. One brother named Lodge from Leeds. He have a sister named Danet. Well, Laro was an A-level student, but he used to teach. And then the engineering workshop. What name again, man? The man with speckles in his face. Very good physics and engineering science teacher, I know. Forget his name, I know. But him and Mr. Linton, my sociology teacher, them lead a delegation to Mr. Patinja and said, this is one of our most disciplined student, hardworking student. Mr. Lurch was in the delegation too. He was one of my best students. He never give no trouble. He was in the class, and I am the head of department, and it was okay. Mr. Henry should interfere with him and him shouldn't physically abuse I and I, because you can't touch a warrior like we physically, even though we're young. We are going to show you, say, no, we not take violation. And so them override that and we apologize to him because me overstep my mark and two wrong never make a right still. But at the same time, we learn to defend ourselves and we are youth. And so those are lessons that we learn. And so your discipline, your good manneredness, your brought up say, that can, and your reputation can count for you and can defend and protect you when you have any little issues, just like I had those issues, because we were disciplined, hardworking student that stand up for me, that people could have voted for us and said, this is not a troublemaker. This is not somebody you need to interfere with. So please override that. And so it shows you say even though Bugs was such a disciplinarian, and him not a fool neither. And him have a heart, and him have a conscience, and him understandable, and him willing to listen to him staff, listen to him student, and keep him family together. So Bugs deserve all his salutation. Big respect to Mr. Henry still, no disrespect. You know, me and Mr. Lurch and the whole crew, but a family, and sometimes you have issues in the family, but it's not the fact issues, is the fact of how those issues are resolved is the crucial thing, and the country and the international community could learn from that based on the amount of wars and rumors of wars that we're having now.
All right, yes, sir. So now you talk about long hair. So what I really want to know is where did the Rastafarian started? How early? And then that will lead up to another serious question. So I just had the audience to brace themselves in the next question.
Well, here this now, my brother. We are a people who are the original instrument and vessels of the living world and custodians of the human family and the planet Earth. We were here before manifestation. We were here when we were walking naked in the spirit until we took on the garment of flesh. And so we have been trodden from eternity to eternity. But in the last 500 years, we have been through great tribulation. But with resilience, make we stand up and fight back. Even Rastafari, the only holistic and authentic and indigenous response to the genocide of colonialism and slavery. We refused to die. And we were sold and buried into the sepulchre of death and captivity. We refused to die. In fact, we live that death must die. And so we are breeding new thoughts, new values, new perspective into the temple of the family of humanity. So with that, we have a sacred duty to be positive, to express gratitude and thanks, and to be responsible, and to empower humanity as a whole, and African people more immediately. And so Rastafari is an inbound concept. That is almost, make an analogy, you know, it's like you have a seed, and finally you plant the seed in the earth. And with sufficient moisture and water in the soil, and nutrients in the soil, and the solar energy, the sunlight, that seed will germinate and will grow. And everything that was in that seed is it become the tree, which start grow other seeds and other fruits. So the concept of Rastafari is a concept that is embedded in our DNA. Because remember, we are spiritual beings, you know. We are spirits having physical experiences, not the other way around. It's not like we are physical beings having mental and spiritual experiences. We are spirit beings having physical and mental experiences. And so the concept of Rastafari is embedded in our spiritual DNA. And it is embedded from before we took on flesh. You can remember St. John 1 verse 1, in the beginning was Word, and Word was God, and with God and took on flesh and dwelt among man. It is really speaking to the notion of energy, which cannot be created and cannot be destroyed, but can be transformed from one state of existence to the next. So we are capsules of energy, and the concept of Rastafari is embedded in that very capsule of energy from before we were born. And so while we were going to STETHS, the nurturing became, more earnest. And then when we were working with the telephone company, it heightened a bit. And we got a scholarship from Jamaica Telephone Company to study engineering at College of Arts, Science and Technology, which is now called University of Technology. And we had a significant experience there. And there was where Rastafari bust out and manifest. In other words, the seeds start grow and bear fruits. Yeah. I want long answer still. I want the I
No,
understand.
man, me glad you went into it like that, because you have to get it from the seed and the root and everything, until, as you
Thank
say,
you.
it starts spread and bear fruit. Me
Yeah,
the farming, remember, St. Elizabeth, me come from in the south.
naturally.
So we know the
And you know, they go
we
a
know the,
case too.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Went to college of agriculture, science and education. So we know the power of this of the seed.
But
And
stick
when
up
you
in the ear. It is
go
stick
ahead.
up in there. Me don't want to forget this. You notice a thing what them doing in Jamaica? That then turn the Jamaica, what do they call it? Jamaica School of Agriculture
Yeah, man, I hate
into
that.
the police training school and then convert it to case. You see the connection there? The police they make a case with case. So they convert
No, me get me
Jamaica
get
School of Agriculture. The man them take it over to police training camp and on the agricultural school in a case.
yes.
And guess what them do at the same time? Them turn things Jamaica into Horizon Prison. Anyhow, that's a whole nother subject, but we couldn't resist that.
Are they history, man, but I must say, the power of the seeds and agriculture, our background. So you could have never use a better analogy to describe what you just bring across.
Exactly. And we
And
want to take this opportunity to Ian, sorry for cutting again, is
go
that we
again, man.
want to big up STETHS. We want to big up STETHS. We have the vision to teach sociology to technical high school students. Because really sociology lead to Rastafari, one of the things. Because sociology teaches that the basic unit of any human society is the individual. And the basic social unit is the family. Because we are social beings. And the family comprises basically father, mother, and child. And theology teaches the same thing in earth as in heaven, sun, moon, and star, father, mother, child. Even chemistry, protons, neutrons, and electrons. And so, by extrapolation, we realize that once the basic unit is the individual and the social unit is the family, then humanity itself must be a family and must subscribe to that very basic definition, father, mother, and child. So as did so now we come recognize Emperor Haile Selassie I as the father for the family of humanity, and Empress Menen as the mother for the family of humanity, the father and mother in the earth as it is in the heavens. And so again, states played an important role in even I and I embracing Rastafari and nurturing that inbound concept.
all right, well said. So now that we go into the school, I can touch on a little touchy topic, but I wouldn't want to ask anybody else than you, because really I know you're a real person and you're gonna give me a real answer. All right.
May I brace faith.
All right. So really, it's a touchy one, but it really had touched me, and I, as you say, probably from the heart, I'm a Rastafarian, and from the heart, I embrace certain part of the culture right through, but when this happened, I was like, man, what go on here, so I go and put it across to you. So this is it. How do you feel about Jamaica High Court and their ruling that school can ban dreadlocks, which touch on the issue of identity, one of the most recognizable symbol of the Rastafarian faith? That's something I really want to know. What your take on that?
Wow. Hear this now, my brother. And people, Ian Thomas will have to go drape up for the answer, not me. So, go, the governor of Jamaica, who them call the Governor General, Mr. Allen, you need to talk to Ian. Andrew Honis, you need to talk to Ian. Babs the Grange, Minister of Culture, you need to talk to Ian. And what the leader of opposition now? Them sorted out yet? Whether Peter Phillips or Lisa or Golden and the other people them in the parliament, you have to talk to Ian. Listen this now. Remember, Africa gave birth to humanity. The first womb is Africa. The first line is Africa. We gave birth to mental and physical man. Civilization flew against the banks of the River Nile into the Mediterranean, Asia Major and Minor, until finally Europe will populate the family of humanity on the planet Earth. Slavery and colonialism was a disruption of African history. And so the transatlantic genocide was a gang rape of Mama Africa by her children because she gave birth to all. Now, this is how we end up in the Caribbean and in the island of Jamaica. Jamaica was the transshipment point for enslaved people and the goods that the enslaved people produced. Now, after we war and fight and so come, you have Nani and Taki and Paul Bogle and Sam Sharp and Nani and Kojo and you know how it go Kwaku and the whole thing comes straight to Marcus Mosiah Garvey, comes straight up to Peter Touch and Bob Marley and Miss Lou and Walter Rodney they come from Guyana come help the struggle and the other people them. So here we are going to know. When adult suffrage and we can vote, you know, and remember we were supposed to be chattel slaves according to them, and chattel slave don't you own your own life. That's why them could have did kill anyone away and not charge for murder because of them own you because you're chattel. So what happened now is that after we fast forward that to emancipation and then now fast forward that to the so-called political independence. If you look at the Lancaster Agreement which preceded independence, which was overseen by Alexander Bustamante and Norman Washington Manley, who were cousins. In my humble opinion, no disrespect to the institutions of the heroes, but we think them sell out the struggle with that agreement. Because it's just like how Nelson Mandela helped sell out the apartheid struggle in South Africa by assuming the liability of the apartheid regime without reconciling the assets. So Jamaica did the same thing. They never mention reparations or repatriation. And yet still they make the Queen of England and the British colonial so-called masters trick them into facelifting the genocide and pass on certain responsibility upon us to make we have a false sense of insecurity. And the Constitution never provides for any autonomy, nor for decolonize the University of the West Indies, nor the Parliament, nor the economics, nor the religion, nor education, nor commerce, nor economics, nor the history, nor the flag. And so up to this day, after 50 odd years, we still independencing. Because that is what this fiasco turned out to be. And so they have lulled us into a state of false security. It's like a people them depend on you if you come home with like a food and like a medicine, like a money. If you look after granny and the bikini if you cook some food and you stop part with your own bar and make two go girl take off your money off of you. And your flour all drop and your money done. And when you go home and no food, now they your box and kick down your wife and beat you to them. You see me as my brethren? So that reach right now, you know. And up to now, even a man like me, we go in a parliament 2017, you know, and them try bully me, you know. Show me say me nah stand up, you know, I am God. And we were there to expunge Paul Bogle, or to witness the expungement of Paul Bogle, Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp, Daddy Marcus, William Garden, Chief Tashi from St. Mary, and the followers and associates. And at the same time, we were expected to pray for God save the Queen, and for stand up for the symbol of the Queen, who was responsible, largely speaking, their institution, for the murdering of these people over 200 years ago, where they just expunge, and you steal a glory and honor them, and insult the ancestors. So that is what happened to we in Jamaica and the so-called parliament. We have to call out the Governor General recently too, whereby they read this brooch with so-called white angel, a stand up and black devil. And by the testimony of history, anybody at the devil would have been the other way around. Because when sins is genocide and gang rape of your own mother and father, and brothers and sisters, an angelic act, that is a devil demonic act. And so For example, up to 2019, and they are going to do some research on this, because you can't swear, so I'm not tell lie. Up to 2019, the visitor, I don't know if they them know who is a visitor of a university. The visitor of a university is the ultimate head of the university. That's why University of West Indies has a visitor's lodge. Shows that the Queen of England is the head of the University of the West Indies. And so the University of the West Indies is not even answerable to the Parliament. And that bore itself out when a girl challenged the university for her intellectual property rights, and the university override the Parliament, saying they are only answerable to the visitor. The visitor was recently changed to a Queen's Council from a Caribbean island. So you notice that then they shift it little to somebody whose loyalty is more to them than to the people and the legitimate struggle of the people. So the University of the West Indies, which is the highest institution of learning, is still not decolonized. The Parliament is still not decolonized. The church is still not decolonized. Education is still not decolonized. The police force is still not decolonized. The army is still not decolonized. The foreign policy is not decolonized. The language is not decolonized. The commerce is not decolonized. So we are living in an emancipendence fiasco, where after 50 years, we're still independencing, pretending to be independent. So there's a lot of unfinished business to do. And finally, as evidence of what I'm saying, Jamaica became so-called independent in 1962, but Alexander Bustamante aided and abetted, either tacitly or complicitly, by Norman Manley and the other politicians, rage a massacre and a genocide on the Rastafari community on the 11th of April 1963, less than 1 year after so-called independence. And Rastafari is the only holistic and authentic and indigenous response to the genocide of colonialism and slavery. So that show you where them people, the headspace did there. Bustamante himself has said, if the prison cell can't hold them, Book Cemetery hold them. So that tell you something. And none of the politicians really stand up and defend the people. It's not really not about Rasta. The have-nots and the so-called common people have always been trodden up and the people them sell out to the colonial masters. And so if you're black, you stay back, and if you're white, everything is all right, and if you're brown, you can stick around. That mentality is still there. And so that is why, no, me zero into the question, but I think if you get that is why after all of that now, you cannot tell a youth saying can't relax to go to school. Yet you have Samson in the Bible, and the other long hair man, you have this blue-eyed hippie, where they must say Jesus, have long hair same way. And then you have all kind of freaks and perverts and punks. And we are lax in every sector of the society. And it is all right. But true, Rasta deal with Africa and the legitimate autonomy of the people. Them use ganja and lax as a convenient pretext to vilify and downpress the Rasta community. Through them a fight the liberation of Africa. And through them a run from reparation and repatriation, but they ain't gonna chop blood or chop fire. Them can't escape the judgment. You see what I say? So we are rebuke them for disrespect Rastafari. And we are tell Rastafari, say, we know they have to insult the society, but they have to defend the people and keep the discipline and the integrity. But we are stand up as warriors of people like Nani and Marcus and the whole liberators, them true to the cause, true to African dignity, true to African integrity, true to humanity. Because we are the original custodians of the planet Earth. And we are the original custodians of the human family. And we are African people. We can't sell out a continent for a prison island. Are you cause it not Ian so?
Whoa. Hey, Yasus. Papa, you put for me, Yasus. You put me there, but anyway, you see, since me I take the fire from all of them names you called early, me might as well just make them hold me, you know. Guess this one, you mentioned something about the flag. I want you just finish up that part and call it a day. Your lady just said, let the truth be told. Many Jamaicans needs to know their history. So tell us about the flag.
Well, you can just need pick up and Google. You know, I've got to help you do some of the work you know too. Just Google the Jamaican flag and Google the Scottish flag. If you were notice the history, the Scottish were induced into the colonial slave trade in the 17th century, and they were so-called good bookkeepers, so they got the power of attorney. And so because the English people were absentee landowners and enslavers, the Scottish were the people with the power of attorney on the ground. And so that is why 80% of the names in the Jamaican dictionary are Scottish names. And not all of them did really the enslaver have that kind of relationship. But as a form of stock control, you did a little account in ET. So you realize stock control, so them subscribe now, them put on for them ascribe them name to the enslaved people as a means of stock control. And that is what started the stock market in New York, the stock exchange, which is another subject for another time. And so when this flag was being contemplated, they looked at Marcus Garvey flag, but you don't know, so they're afraid of Marcus Garvey like how push through the water. And so them never want to touch that. And so them Bustamante conspired with a pastor from Scotland and then borrowed the Scottish flag. So Jamaica flag is the exact Scottish flag, then they shift around the color them. And so that is another example of we not going to Africa, not going to our own people, but still a run to the colonialist enslavers because we are work with the conspiracy of not decolonizing the symbols and institutions of governance and government. And so we still have those unfinished work to do. And there are many other symbols. I was invited to the Bank of Jamaica in 2017. I don't think they would invite me back. And me tell the governor, say, before me start the session, you need to get rid of this alligator with the key in my mouth. Because I don't know if I some sauce or you know I plan to work for we don't here. So, and if you look on the coat of arms, all of them we need to go back and look on, man. All of them. Them are show say the people them not right and them are going like say them not read or write and them going like say we never go to school to and we not dance. We know them up to and nothing good. So we said decolonize all the institutions and set the people free. And make the people rise to them responsibility and dignity as African people, and we have a better country. Because the people are like children, live what they're learning. So if you now give the people that respect them, you notice enough of the crime and violence in the ghetto far from disrespect. Like a man say, you diss me, you violate me. That means that the people them want respect, you know. If you give the people them respect, the people them too much is given, much is required. And if you treat the people them with respect, man, may I tell you, the people them want treat you for respect. If you make me feel like we are smarty picking it up, we are going to behave like we are smarty picking it up. But if you make me feel like so we are not smarty picking it up, you know them way like say when you go bathroom, a party you go make. You over me don't want to ball guy, no, but me want to be real in a worry.
No man, all right, here's something. See, when I went next STETHS and Dr. Cecil right, so him said deep, big up the fighters of freedom. So guess what?
I didn't talk about fighters of freedom. We want to look on the word of freedom, because sometimes you wonder if it means you're free the dumb to dumb the free. Are you dumb not to be free even though you're born free? You know what I say? And some people are in the streets and refuse to be free. And some people are behind bars and refuse to be prisoners. Some people are enslaved and refuse to be slaves. And some people are killed and refuse to die. And some people are walking up and down and refuse to live. So it's a serious word that fighters of freedom, them really fight freedom for you. Or them are dumb the free in order to free the dumb, or free the dumb in order to dumb the free, or dumb not to be free, even though you're born free. But whether it is dumb to be free or free to be dumb, we still have to big up freedom. And free man, woman, and child. You know what I say?
Right.
So big up yourself, Dr. Cecil, right. Because if you're not right, you're wrong. You know what the thing.
Why? Yasus, I don't know what to say, man, but you know, I'm really glad that we brought you on this afternoon to spread so much light on our history, the culture, Rastafarian faith, the roots, the branches, you start from the seed. Guess what, man? I just gonna turn it back over to Ian, because I can tell you, you're really a blessing to the show already.
So you're not getting a phone call now, no text now, no email yet though.
Why? Probably when I leave, I probably just need to sleep after the program. I don't need to check nothing because I know I will a message in there.
But you're good, man, because look, the truth and right set you free, and they are like the mountains around Jerusalem. And we are not alone, because when you are dealing with truth and rights, the hosts of heaven are there to tread with you and to protect you. And no apology, no partiality, no disrespect. The truth shall set us free, and the truth now have no friend and no respect our person. And is truth and rights and love and justice. Because that we are going to think we bring world peace, and we bring peace and prosperity in Jamaica, in America, anywhere you're there. So we're good, man. What you say, Olympian?
We're good like that. That's why we come up with a program, Yasus. So basically, we can voice it just as it is. No bias, just say it as it is,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
All right. So we're just gonna move on. Freedom is the most I know. That verse just popped in my head. So with that verse popping in the head, I'm gonna move over to one. I don't mean to bring back any sad memories, but I just want to say a few words about Garnet Silk. I know that you guys have. He was one of the early person that. Well, he's a childhood friend. Let's get that straight. He's a childhood friend, and I know that he have left us way early. But just tell us, what does Garnet Silk? What does he represent to you, and what the best memory, and what can you tell us about that legendary guy?
Right. And since you know say me a burn fire, though me married water and fire. Hard and tough. So me go burn a little fire and throw a little water upon you and Ian, the two Ian. They keep talking about this guy's business. Me don't know what I mean by that. So me answer your question, but we're not the guys.
All right. My apologies.
Suppose the goat them start calling them kid boys and girls. You'll feel good, E.T.
No. Let me get it right.
Then you keep calling the children kids. Remember, say me reason the other day about neurolinguistics,
Yeah. A big word, right? No,
you have a thing called neurolinguistic sorcery, where them I use the language now for trick the mind. So no feel no way. We are keep it real. Love and understanding. Garnet silk, that youth is like the human silkworm. We clothe the people in a garment, a righteous garment of vocal, musical energy. The first time me meet the youth, they looking at me eye and say, Yasus Afari, I love you. And the first man that will look at me and tell me saying love me. I think another man never tell me saying love. But it felt so clean and brotherly that me could have no same love me for true. And we form a band right there. So it was Mandeville Plaza in Mandeville. When we never push out yet. And him did name actually Little Bimbo. They used to call him that time there. And we teach him about Rastafari, because we embrace Rastafari before the youth are still on. And he's a youth who was inspired. He have that passion there. He have that drive there. He have that love there for the music, for the people, for the reggae, for Rastafari, for the struggle. And it come out in our music. And the people give him forward the love there. So that when they hear the music and the passion, and when we used to be in the dance, because we started out in a dance, and if you Google Yasus Afari or Garnet Silk and Stone Love with I in a Circle B farm in the early 90s, for Stone Love and mash up the dance. We started out in the dance hall. And when we did the dance on the stage show them, people have goose pimple. When they touch the mic and sing Spanish angel or fill us up, I can see clearly the people hungry but them starving. So Garnet is just a youth like that where we're inspired, we have a passion, and we have a love for the music and the people. It come out in the music, the people return the love there. So it was a formidable colleague And we did a lot of works together through the Christian Soldiers movement and through washing and cleansing the dancehall in the dancehall baptism. My first album is called Dancehall Baptism. And in terms of challenging the negativity with positivity in the dancehall and in the reggae space in the early 90s. So he was a youth who was a great source of inspiration in the Renaissance. The Renaissance has came out in the 90s after the decadence being celebrated in the 80s after them tried to hijack Rastafari movement from the 60s to the 70s. So Garnet still represented that, and we did 3 songs together. We did several dance, whole heap of dance and stage show and reasoning and the whole vibe. So it's just a youth like that. The memory part, the memory is so much. But me, I'll tell you one of the most outstanding memory. This is something I talk about very rarely. And I can call some names who were there that people can fact check me. G-Force from Stone Love was there. Richard Parkman, a farmer, member of parliament, was there, among as well as his family. And quite a member, about a dozen people were there. And him say, Yasus Afari, how you check that? Suppose a man come and kill me right now. What do you think could happen to me? I said, Garnet say, me not check that, and me can't dead, And if a man come and kill you right now and burn you to ashes, and scatter the ashes to the 4 corners of the earth and spread rumor upon you so you're dead, don't surrender to that. Life is like a classroom. When you take up the breath of life, it's like an invigilator say pens up. And when you put down the breath of life, it's like a pens down. So when people call death is really summer holiday, where the exam paper gone mark. So September, which class you are going on. If you skip class, if you repeat, if you get kicked out of school, and you progress to the next stage. So through any stage or phase where Jah put you to, don't surrender to death. And say Ghana still burn up less than a month time. So that become a very, very memorable experience. And me feel like say Jah use me to issue a visa game. So me know say Ghana not dead still. Cause him decides him now go surrender to death. And that did stamp in him passport and him visa. So Ghana still live through music. Energy cannot be created. Energy cannot be destroyed. But energy creates and can only be transformed from one state of existence to the next. So Ghana still live. Only for this go and wear the garments when using vice as the human silkworm and wear that as your protection. So if them start come at your ET, you just put on one of garment silk, royal, righteous, vocal vesture, and tell them say we belly full but we still starving. For them belly full but we still starving. Them have a lot. You know what I mean? But we don't have it. Dirty tough, although rain a fall, as when Miss Lou said. So we there have to use the culture to protect ourselves and guide ourselves and empower ourselves. So Ghana was another youth and another example of how we can use the music and the culture to uplift ourselves. As a man when we leave school from 11, but he's one of the brightest sons in Jamaica. So it's true, you say the culture can uplift we and help we and brighten we up and make we be responsible human beings we impact the world. Because Jamaica is a world cultural superpower. So them youth they help make that happen to. Obviously, we know of the Bob Marley and Bonnie and Peter, Jimmy Cliff, Toots Animators, Burning Spear, Culture, Miss Lou, Judy Moore, Marcia Griffiths, I Trees, and the whole work go on. But youth like Garnet Silk in the contemporary age was really a force that really have a positive impact on the world and on Jamaica and the music. And I'm honored to have been a part of that experience,
Well, it's a pleasure to hear it from you. This other question, because I've been hearing that Silk would have been on the same path, as a we never have another Bob Marley, but was following the footstep of moving in that direction. How far and how much do you think Garnet would have influenced the world and Jamaica and reggae music, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I don't know if that worthy of a discussion because, we don't know.
Okay.
We can only, if we want to predict, we could take that risk based on the trajectory that he set. And so he was set on poise. Obviously, music maybe never as original as Bob Marley, that him sing on a lot of rhythm, which in my opinion is a shortcoming, not just of him, but of the struggle. But having said that, the impact we have on the people, obviously the kind of sensation we create, the influence we had and continue to have, the love where the people have for him, the outpouring at tears and how heart-rending it was and still is for a lot of people. It gives you a basis to predict that he would have created a serious and profound impact that is comparable to any of the great reggae legends and icons that maybe are more popular and more universally celebrated. But for the impact and the work that he did and the impact he created in a short period of time goes to tell us that if we were given the opportunity, and if he were given the opportunity for a more sustained impact, then it would have just resonated in greater strength, greater empowerment, greater upliftment for the music and for the positivity in the music and for Rastafari.
All right. Well said. I don't think anybody could have done it better than you. I'm going to focus back to you now, and then we will get in back in. But I wanted to ask you about the inspiration behind the name Yasus Afari, because that's a powerful name. I mean, when I'm looking at, I looked at the name really, really, really good, and I'm seeing the power. If a lot of people probably don't see where the Afari come from, but you probably can better. I don't want to get it wrong, so let you explain that to us.
Right. It's a crucial question that, and really want to give no long answer at this point, when we are gone for an hour and a half. But let me see how I could have do it. My mother named me John Sinclair, see? And when we start coming out, we learn what John mean. John mean God has shown mercy and favor. And because I come from an engineering background, I made do comparative analysis. Me evaluate what mercy mean. Mercy is like what you have in mathematics, plus or minus or error approximation. In the judiciary, pardon and forgiveness. In theology, forgiveness and redemption. And so I had a experience in 1984. I'm hoping I sound crazy, but it was like I was in a conference and I was the only person in the garment of flesh in that conference. So I was in a spirit conference, and in that spirit conference, I was given the name Yasus Afari and given the meaning, the interpretation, the purpose, the methodology to use to fulfill that purpose. So to cut the story short, the name really means a gift of vision. Among us. So Yasus speaks to the gift among us, and Afari speak to vision. Now, vision is really mercy and favor transformed. Because them say when mercy and judgment come, yet mercy endure forever. So the only how mercy can endure forever is if it is transformed, and it's transformed into vision. So it's really John give I the name Yasus Afari. Because Yasus Afari is the transformation of mercy to vision. I don't know if that helped you trying to be a short answer.
I didn't want to get it wrong, so I definitely wasn't that deep that I was thinking, but I know that it got to be more than what I think about. I am just looking at the name from the Rastafarian culture itself and seeing that there's a connection. That I'm just
certainly with Afari and Tafari. But interestingly, I met some youth from Djibouti in Denmark a couple of years ago. They are from the Afar region. And they must say, if me ever go Afar region, them crown me. Because me carry the energy and me look just like the Afar people from the Horn of Africa. and they are the Afar people. You can Google them, the AFAR, Afar people. So they are the Afari people, really. And so it is still linked to Tafari, which creator, and I'm a child of the creator, because the vision that I represent really is not my own vision, it's a vision of the Almighty. You know what I mean? All of we have the vision, but me maybe have a little bit of focus and attention on that, trying to provide enlightenment through the poetry and for Rastafari to bring that enlightenment, not to segregate and to divide the people, but to let us know that we are one earth, one love, one humanity, and we all breathe the same breath of life. So the vision that I and I represent is the vision of one earth, one love, one humanity, and the fact that we all breathe the same breath of life, the fact that we are from the same prior history, prior manifestation, the fact that we are from the same womb and cradle of human civilization, the fact that we inhabit one planet Earth, and the fact that we have to find a formula so that we can coexist peacefully, because we don't have the luxury of choice. And so the only how, the way the world are going with science and technology and nuclear energy and wars and rumors of wars, if we don't have a way to peacefully coexist, then we are going to disintegrate. You know what I mean? And death and destruction will be the only solution. And so we don't want that. So we have to find a way to peacefully coexist through truths and rights and social justice so that we can find a way that the have-nots will be protected, the aged will be cared for, the naked will be clothed, the hungry will be fed, the sick will be nurtured back to health. You know what I mean? And we can all be equal in the law and equal in the eyes of the Almighty so that we can all fulfill our purpose and make this world a better world and make humanity a better family and make planet Earth a better place which we can all cohabit. So the vision when I speak to is really that vision. And many of us are working on that vision. But, once you get a name, the name reminds you. The name releases a capsule of energy whenever it is spoken, written, heard, recalled, seen, or remembered. And so that's what it does to me. Remind me of that purpose and that mission and that responsibility that we have for humanity.
All right. Well, we definitely give thanks for that explanation. We know that me personally, I'm gonna have to sit down and listen to this interview again to really process, some of the intellectual, conversation that you gave us. I'm going to move along because, as I said, we know that we're not going to be here all night, so we're going to try to get this one in. You write many books, I'm just going to ask you about pretty much well, let's talk about overstanding Rastafari since we was talking about the whole vision. And I know that book took you about 5 years to write, and you tour, was in the UK doing a lot of touring and just public speaking. What was the vision behind that book? What was the mission for the book, and did you feel like it served its purpose?
Well, definitely, and it's still a work in progress. What inspired that really, was I wrote a proposal to the then Minister of Education, Youth and Culture, because that was how the ministry was then designated over 15 years ago. And the minister was Birchell Whiteman, who happened to be a black man, but anyway, Birchell Whiteman. And so we gave him a proposal which speaks to teachings of Marcus Garvey and Miss Lou in school and putting the culture as a tool of empowerment. And so out of that came the Culture Agency program in Jamaica and Jamaica Day celebration. So I became one of the first culture agents in Jamaica. And by then, Rastafari was recognized as the CXC, Caribbean Examination Council, as a indigenous social and religious response of the Caribbean. But most of the books, if not all, at the time I think all the books, save maybe one by Barbara Blake Hannah, which was speaking about Bob Marley. All the books were written by non-Rastafarians, and many of the people were not sensitive or respectful of Rastafari. And so the resource material and resource personnel were largely speaking, not Rastafari. And so we used the questions that came from the students and the educators, and we used the curriculum, and we used the questions that people ask whenever I travel on tour, and we put those together and use it to inform and inspire the book Overstanding Rastafari, Jamaica's Gift to the World. It has 21 chapters speaking to the origin, food and nutrition, gender relationships and custom, Rastafari and Christianity, Rastafari worldview, and different eras and facets and aspects of the livity of Rastafari. And so that book, became very successful. It's still used at the University of the West Indies as a recommended text. It is used in several universities across the world as a required text, and in some instances a recommended text. It is, and this is the first I'm talking this publicly. Wow. It is now used by the University of Oxford as a resource material, and I as a resource person for 3 textbooks that they have written on religious studies in Jamaica and the Caribbean. So it continues to do some important groundbreaking works. It is used in the penal justice system in the United Kingdom. A Cameroonian person used it to defend himself for a marijuana charge in Australia. We presented it in the Jamaican Parliament, in the British Parliament, in the New Zealand Parliament, in the Gambian Parliament, St. Lucian Parliament. So it's a special book, and it is one of 3 books. The other, which was before, is iPen, and one which is called Vocal Ink, the Mental Intercourse. And so it is the visual side of the audiovisual work. And the audio work are albums like 8 albums going 9 now. Mental Assassin, Dancehall Baptism, Anachronim, Yasus Afari and Friends, Gift of Vision, Kiss Me Neck, Ancient Future, Public Secret, and one I don't remember right now.
Ancient Future.
It might be, Ancient Future is already there. Public Secret, and one Revolution Chapter 1 is the other. So we try to balance the audiovisual because we still see ourselves as the audiovisual twin.
Man. Well, I'm telling you, I can't wait to actually do another interview again with you in the long run, because
after an hour and a half.
Look, remember, the time. I know the time is up there and they keep moving, but I feel like we just started. But I know.
Oh, my good man. What, my brother, here you go. They are the family still, Even outside of the state sentiments and the Jamaica sentiments, it's still human experience. And, we are here as a servant of the people. So anything we do, we're not there causing a plan for kill and rob and scam people. We're there trying to talk about history, create our own narrative, and create our own future and control our own destiny. So I'm honored, my brother. It's a responsibility, and we're always happy to dispense with that responsibility.
All right, Mr. Ian Thomas.
All right, yes, sir. So I'm gonna transition over to you. But before I go, I know you like balance, so I want to balance out this segment before I transition over. In that we have allowed you to talk about 2 powerful women. You did. You talk about a powerful man, which is Garnet, but I think we need one.
You're not going sister there.
Yeah. No, man. She out of the league. That she in a. Guess what? Miss Derry on the hill by herself. All right.
I want to eat and either. All right. We
no, wait there, man. Them in a them own place. We can't draw no comparison there. So, all right. But listen, me have to balance it out now with one more artist, entertainer, just like yourself. Want you talk a little bit about Daddy Uri for me? Go up on the next side. Tell us something about Daddy Uri. Enough man really know the depth of Daddy Uri.
Wow, yeah, it's an interesting thing that. Now, if you notice, recently we celebrated the 10th anniversary of Jamaica Poetry Festival, and he was one of the people that we gave an award of honor, and he performed, and that was for the same reason you're asking, as a pioneer, the original toaster, the original teacher, the godfather, the dandada, the one who used the music and empower the dancer space with positivity, with melody, with message, with good news, and is a man who influence other genres internationally and the other genres here as well, because I have been influenced by Daddy Uri. He has always, and the dancer space, the Storegraph, the influence he had on Brigadier Jerry, for example, Charlie Chaplin, Josie Whale, and by extension, many of the other toasters and DJs and people in the dancehall space. So that hero is really somebody iconic and legendary who is really a teacher in the informal setting and an example of positivity and somebody who we should always hold up as somebody who's to be respected as one of the elders of the music farm of Rastafari and of the struggle in Africa. So we were honored to have the opportunity to honor him. And again, I'm honored and fortunate for you to give me the opportunity here to speak to the impact that he had and continues to have on myself, on dancehall, on reggae music, on Rastafari, and on the African diaspora. So, legend, immortal, Daddy Uri, and we daddy that.
All right, there we go. So I think we have some balance right now. So Ian have pick up the part with the author, So before I get deep into that, what I want to ask you is which writers would have had the greatest impact on your work?
Wow, that's an interesting question, a bit difficult. Well, the obvious ones would be like Marcus Garvey, obviously Marcus Garvey in terms of the Jamaican space, as well as obviously His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. But people like Malcolm X would have played a role as well. And Bertrand Russell, which is very unusual, as well as Khalil Gibran. Some of the people who come readily to mind who were very influential in the formative and evolving years. But in recent times, more contemporary people and digging deeper, some of the other, iconic writers. But in terms of that critical formative period of time and in terms of influencing, certainly Miss Lou, and we would have drawn experiences from some of the prolific poetic reggae artists like Bob Marley and Peter and Bonnie and Jimmy as well. Steel Pulse even, but in terms of authors, the ones that we just enumerated would be the principal ones that would have influenced the formative years.
All right, great. Glad to know. All right, next question now, because this is going to start with the work. And you just mentioned about poet. All right, could you tell us about Poet in Motion? We know this has been years going on. Tell us the vision that you had with this and what it represents.
Wow. All right. You see that experience I have in 1984? That was 12 years before I visited Ethiopia in 1996. And I can't give you the long version still, but I appeared in Ethiopia in the year of Johannes, and Johannes is the Amharic for John. So in the year of Johannes, on the day of Johannes, and Johannes is a part of my name. I kind of keep it personal. Yasus Afari is like the middle name. Johannes is the first name. So 3 youths jumped the barricade at the front of the stage and say, "You are the Apostle Johannes, the favorite apostle of Christ." Can you imagine? 12 years after I got that inspiration. And so 8 years after returning from Ethiopia, I got the inspiration to put on Poetry in Motion on the leap day in the leap year, which is the year of Johannes and the day of Johannes. And so we started Poetry in Motion in 2004, and it has now become the longest running and most successful annual poetry event in the history of Jamaica. And so it's really music, dance, and comedy, storytelling, fashion, and poetry. And this is a charitable event, so we support a worthy member of the community. So we use entrepreneurship, community, coming together in the Ubuntu spirit, in the takes a village to raise a child concept. We start on time, we end on time, we're transparent, we present to charity check on stage from the first year until now. And it's clean, intelligent fund for the entire family and community. And so we are honored to be looking forward to the 18th annual renewal of Poetry in Motion on Sunday, February 28th, 2021. And so this year, we had one of the last public events before the pandemic, which was the last Sunday in February this year. And so we're looking forward to the next stage, in which will at least be virtual in part, if not totally, on the last Sunday in February, the 28th of February 2021, and we can look out for that. We have all of the people confirmed already. I'll just give you one special, or maybe two special surprises. We'll be featuring Benjamin Zephaniah. Who don't know him can Google him. Benjamin Zephaniah, as well as, I won't say his name yet, but a farmer, musician from Stevie Wonder, who appeared on two of Stevie Wonder's albums. So he'll be our international guest, and he'll be in Jamaica for the event. And we have many others from academia, from the cultural landscape, celebrating Poetry in Motion 2021, next February 28th, last Sunday in February in Mandeville. So we're looking forward to that, my brother.
Great. Whole heap of work you're doing, but I know we can't cover all of it here. So I just want to do a quick take back now. 1993.
1 second there. Take me off of the screen or do something. The computer you want to plug in, because we are going longer than with it.
Yes, Ian. So we are doing that. Yasus will be right back. He's just gonna get his device ready. I know that we have just pleased with what we have learned today. You know, I have learned so much history from the legacy of Rosal. You know, I've been hearing that name Rosal. Now I feel like I know where Rosal is.
You went very close, man. Very close.
You know, I just would love to. Next time I go around the south side, I'm gonna have to see this school, because it's some legend and some good ambassador from St. Elizabeth have actually been to Rosal Primary, all age, schools. So, but I'm gonna let you talk about that, Ian. I know, as I said, that you guys have, with the family, with your mother, and with all of that connection. But it's just a small world, and I'm just so inspired by what Yasus are doing. He's a great, teacher, and I believe that one of the questions I gotta ask him about, for him to consider being a teacher. I know Mr. Wellington have made a comment that
the man is a lecturer for the world, Ian. You can't say a teacher. The man travel the world and lecture, man. Man.
Well, he's an educator, and I said, so I know. Go ahead.
That's why we gotta ask him what he mean by edutainer.
All right, here. Let's come back in here.
All right, yes, sir.
Mr. Alfred, it's the flow, but you did ask about 1993.
We keep it running till you come back, So yeah, we want to take you back to 1993 when you were the dope poet.
May I go address the editing thing now? So when we did write the poem, yeah, man, when we did write the poem for Mrs. McDonald class,
yeah,
and she said must continue writing up to now that I ringing in my ears. So me did really want to use the poetry when me accept say my calling that for kind of do a little bit more than just entertain, because we're not in the clown thing. So we did want to marry now entertainment with education. You see, just like how when we used to get worm medicine, then put like a syrup in it, and it go.
Yeah, flavor it.
And when your mother give you a cat liver oil, she make sure she have one spoon of honey give you too. So we kind of want to sweeten the information with little entertainment. So when we did the culture agency program that we spoke about with Virtual Whiteman earlier, we really did a lot of events in the schools in Jamaica. And so we use with poetry, with little storytelling, with little humor, little comedy, little entertainment and pass on some information which the youth found helpful and which was empowering. So we developed the concept nearly 30 years ago of edutainment, and we carry it internationally to the 40 odd countries I've been to so far.
Wow. That answers a big part of the history. Yep. So, as I said, no, we want to take you back to 1992. You know, you have a lot of accomplishment, and we can't even mention half of it because we don't know half of it, because that's how global you is. There's a 43 country, that a lot of countries. Most of us, even through all our dreams, we won't even dream going to that amount of countries. But I want to take you back right back to Jamaica, 1993. That's when he had to believe in school. I would have just been at States 1 year, and you were given the dub poet of the year that year. You know, can you, you know, a little controversy, but take you right back down there, so.
Yeah, interestingly, how am I call it now? You know, we used to work very hard, trying to make a name and trying to put out the poetry there, but people keep saying it's all like Muta, yeah, the Muta thing. I mean, I really, all respect due to Muta, but we don't really have the Muta thing, we have our own thing. So we really work hard to overcome that little reluctance to accept someone else. And so we were very prolific in 1992. And so we were nominated for the Jammy Awards. And as a result of how hardworking we were invited to perform on the Jammy Awards, Jamaica music industry, which was kind of the Jamaica equivalent for the Grammys. And so it was held at the Pegasus Hotel live on TV. And so I gave a very good performance. And Muta was also nominated, but they gave Muta the award. So Muta called me up on stage and said I was more deserving of the award, and he wanted to give me, but I never really depend that still. His name was on it, and I never him give himself the award. It's good. I mean, really, I work for the award that way they still, even though we wouldn't mind if we did get it. But if him get it, it's all good. It's not a problem. So I didn't take it. I didn't want to take it, and he kind of Muta was in a dilemma because Muta looked like him never even countenance the facts and he could have refused to take it. So he did feel you could have seen the same guy in a little week. I'm almost force my hand and I force my hand open to take it, you know. And you could see him body language and in facial expression. So I never want to put my virgin on the spot. I never want to put myself on the spot. So me myself was in a dilemma. And something just clicking on my mind and I smile and step to the mic and say, people, we in a democratic country. We seeking a consensus. What if we do? I remember Oliver Samuels was in the front row, front and center. He was another the first one with the biggest mouth. Said, take it. And they gave us a standing ovation. And because I said, the voice of the people is the voice of Jah. So me take it. Well, Muta kind of schooled me backstage and so I kind of think that I am. Oh, me a give you award and you don't want to take it. I said, then you name the planet virgin. And you give yourself the award. I don't want to go with the award with your name on it. Muta said, son, you did the song name Anna. He said, yeah. So him say, you know the song, you know, say Anna the new order. He said, yeah. Him said, then that I do. He said, well, if I saw it go, give thanks. And we have to say the people, full dancing. Me feel more comfortable. You feel comfortable. The people feel comfortable. And we think just smile. And that was on the 23rd of February, 1993. And we are talking about it on the 26th of December, on Muta's birthday.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so Muta 68th birthday. So
Wow.
your sister, that was a special moment, and it was a poetic moment, a moment of poetic love and justice. People cried everywhere we go in the world. I really more than 43 countries we go still, but it's all right. You can keep it at 43. Almost every country we go, if them interview me, them always, it keeps surfacing. Sometimes I hope so they would even bother ask. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
you know, but anyhow, it's good because we still have to respect that gesture that Muta made, and it really put a certain spotlight on them. I don't know if that was the reason, but in 1994, I was approached by Black Uhuru to record with them and to tour with them. which was another milestone in my life. I was invited by the founder, leader of the Black Uhuru, Ducky Simpson, and I appeared on one of the Grammy-nominated albums. And we did several recordings with them, and we toured 32 states in America, including Hawaii. We toured about 12 countries in Europe. We toured Brazil several times. We toured the Caribbean. And so that was an interesting synergy that came about the following year. We toured with them in 1994, and we do quite a few things to them, and we still have a close working relationship. And so yeah, Muta made a poetic gesture, which stands the test of time and continues to be impactful.
You know, I really bring this up, as a to touch on Muta, and I think by Muta saying here, he would have seen the work that you have done, and he's also a legend, an icon in the business. And for him to do that, that is where I already would say accept it. So it wouldn't take Oliver to say accept it. I would say accept it based on the fact that it's coming from the man who was at the top of his game at the time, and he could look and say, yo, that brother you outdo me. You deserve it. That speak highly of the person that he is. He could have hugged it up and go home with it, but he couldn't sleep with it. He couldn't feel good about it. So,
well, you're right. I agree with you. But just that you have to be yourself. And to be very honest with you, it's not a pride thing neither, but it's kind of a self-worth thing. And, if it's Muta award and it's not him give himself and other people give him and him name on it, me don't know if me feel my conscience make me feel too good for this gladly take the man award with him name on it, even though him give me still. So it is what it is, you know what I mean? I will be myself, and it's a way of at least expressing how we felt and how we see ourselves and how we see him and how we see what him do and everything else. So it worked out. I'm happy I had the presence of mind. I never want to insult him in kind gesture. I never want to insult my self-dignity either. And so it worked out because, we are built consensus. We're a part of a community. We are social beings. It takes a village to raise a child. And so if you have a question, if you feel depressed, if you feel suicidal, if you feel let down, if you feel successful, share it with somebody. It will inspire someone. Someone will inspire you. And so it's always good to consult and to have the humility and the humanity to ask others, and to get the consensus of the community. So no, it was not just Muta who extended that courtesy, but it is the entire community. And that in itself benefits Muta as well as me and well as the community. So it happened like it happened for a reason. We are who we are.
All right. With that, I want to see a quick little speech through this one, but Africa, the motherland, Africa. I grew up in Jamaica, and everybody is a motherland, it's like go back to Africa. You have the privilege of traveling the continent, different countries. Could you just give us a little insight on Africa and what it represents, especially to us as black men?
Well, Africa represents the cradle and the womb of humanity and Mother Earth. Africa is the spaceship of the ancient future. Africa is the only continent that is grounded. All other continents are floating. So Africa is the future. And it is our duty as Africans and human beings to reinstate Mama Africa to our position of honor and dignity and virtue and power and glory that she is organically and that she has blessed the earth with. And I think that will be the redemption of Africa and redemption of humanity. And all human beings has that responsibility. And when I visit seven African countries, when you visit Africa, you just remind yourself, Rockstone, that this is really who we are. The place pretty, we have a struggle still, but the place pretty, the place beautiful, the people love. We Jamaica play an important role by bringing the continental vision of Africa through the music. So Jamaica is held in a high esteem, but the people of Africa, you can know, are free people that in every respect is the nostalgia, the beauty of the land, the food, the animal, the people. When you one teeth granny smile upon you, it's like a stadium ball turn on. when one bang belly youth, when I have no shirt, when I know where next meal I come from, when him laugh, is almost like say I want city. Yellow pan. And we see how some people are so fiscally obese, suffer from fiscal obesity. And when they smile, it's like a dead dog, a king them teeth. No life, no warmth, no love. So Africa represents that with all its struggles and challenges. Africa smile, Africa live, Africa move with hope and inspiration. Africa is the ancient future. Africa is the foundation. So we have to look out for Africa and make Africa look out for we.
Wow, wow. Yasus, why? you you know your history, and trust me, as I said, I'm saying it again, man. I am happy that we have you on here because you have been able to really open up our eyes and really bless our thoughts and our mind with some real positive message and history, deep history. And with that, I wanna now get to another big move from Yasus. Jamaica Poetry Festival. I know you are behind it, but not just behind this. I want to explain to the people what this is all about. But the fact that you were able to pull off this, you're able to pivot during the pandemic until to make this thing possible this year. How did you do that? Yes.
Well, yes, my brother. Me kind of the head cook and buckle washer for Jamaica Poetry Festival, but it's a team effort. We have support from nobody want to call name no for getting in trouble, but all of the poets and some media people and people behind the scenes. We have a team where we call the Senior Come team, and they have been a source of strength and continue to be. But it was the 10th anniversary. We had a pandemic. Obviously we wanted to be responsible and to adhere to the protocols. And so we just wanted to toe the line that way. But we never want to cancel the show or to postpone it. And so we think about it and we get this inspiration, say, why not celebrate with 10 countries as it is the 10th anniversary? And we put a proposal to RGR Cleaner Communication Group. They embraced the event from the very start. And so we did it in partnership with them. And it was staged in August 8th at the TVJ studio in Kingston. And so we celebrated poets from Iran, South Korea, Netherlands, Botswana in Africa, Canada, England, America, Trinidad, Barbados, and Jamaica. And it was 2 hours and a half, and it was very impactful. We have close to 100,000 views. We got sponsorship support from the Canadian government and people, from Flag Up Scotland Jamaica, an organization headed by black and white politicians in Scotland. We got sponsorship from Jamaica Public Service Company Limited, from Kingston Co-op Credit Union, from VW Investment Cambio, from Jamaica National Bank, from Jamaica Tourist Board, Tourism Enhancement Fund, from the RGR Cleaner Communication Group, from Senyacom Entertainment, and several other people who gave us some form of support. So we really got tremendous sponsorship support in our pandemic, and we pull off a 10th anniversary with people from different countries, religious and cultural and linguistic background and time zone and timeline. And we had a smooth show, which you can go and look at on the TVJ, Television Jamaica, YouTube channel, as well as Jamaica News Network, as well as One Spot Media. And so we featured people like Professor Caroline Cooper, Kabu Mahad Kiru, Brother Resistance from Trinidad, Winston Farrell from Barbados, Shema from Iran, Choi Ming from South Korea, Anthony Malozi from Botswana, Aldit Hunka, who is listening to us now from Netherlands, We had from United States of America, Dr. Neil Hall. We had from London, England, Nicole McIntosh, and we have Dwayne Morgan from Canada. And certainly I was there, and Daddy Hugh was our special guest. And our Lifetime Achievement Awardee was Dr. Olive Senior, who currently resides in Toronto, Canada. So we had a tremendous staging, so much so that we got sponsorship from a government ministry 3 months after the event.
Wow. And well, I can tell you, it was well organized, the team, I gotta say thumbs up to the team that was working along with you. And we're happy that you did not allow it to be cancelled, but you're able to pivot and bring forth, a blessing to many of us, because it was needed, especially in this time. I tell you, working as a nurse, the depression and anxiety have heightened like to another level. And I don't know, probably the music or the poetry, the listenership probably have traveled along the same way, because people are looking for a way to really take a breather in this time. So,
yes. You're so right, my brother. You hit the nail right in the head. And that was maybe why he got such a response from sponsors and the audience and from the media. And I just really shout out to all the poets who really supported. Oh, Jean Binta Breeze. Oh my, the One Woman Festival was certainly a serious hit on the event and helped make it be the resounding successes was. If I leave off anybody name, please see with me. I don't have a flyer or poster with me. It's coming out of my head. But everyone who had anything at all to do with it, love and honor, we give thanks. We couldn't have done it without you. And you helped to make it the success that it was and continues to be. And so it set us up for the 18th annual staging of Poetry in Motion, Sunday, February 28th. And we're really looking forward to that. And people must look out. We have so many surprises. We are rising to the occasion. We are adding new features. We are going to stream on some different unprecedented platform and some ways. And if we can let the push out of the bag, we have been already talking Ian, so we are recruit the Ian crew to give us some support and as we create a synergy. And synergy speaks to reciprocity. So it's a two-way street,
Yes, give thanks.
Well, you got the full support, so I just tell you that I'm turning right back over to Ian, but just know that 2 hands, we're on board.
Say that Ian you're troublemaker. No one them father glad to get rid of him at 13-year-old and because a while ago, me say me get 3 months, me get sponsorship 3 months after the event. And you keep a straight face and him laugh. And it was a joke. I told him,
You don't see the type of hat when weird come on there.
I say, I. In the scene, another I say, I and I.
Yeah, man.
Make your wife put in a STETHS tonight.
Yeah, I and I. Yes, you gotta give thanks because since the pandemic is the year start to grow, we just decide to just grow it out since it's from the new year. So I'm holding forth, I'm trying to get the health guy to help me.
So your mustache and your beard decides that them now grow.
Well, we have those under control.
But look here now, my brother. We have to make out a shout out again to the STETHS family and the STETHS community. And we're looking forward to the reunion, which is really the 60th anniversary reunion for STETHS is next year. So all the STETHS Massive and crew, Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, Kingston, St. Andrew, Clarendon, St. Catherine, all of the parishes in Jamaica, and the STETHS diaspora. In tune, and big up yourself, Mr. Wellington. We still need to talk about the Box and Entrepreneurial Center.
Well,
but
Mr. Wellington is actually on right now. Yasus
Well, him
said,
know how we keep the thing really, you know. I'm glad say him on and me remind him that. And if you know, make we sit down and talk, you know, go tappy about it. Was all the 68 come up and now, cause bugs deserve the honor there. And we plant the seed for it already. So make it germinate and flourish, big man. You understand the way I say, because you know how the thing go, and you know, say you're general in the thing. And we adapt you from man mode, and we bring your states and you do a good job. So let's bring it to the next level, sir.
Yeah, look, Mr.
And you see,
Wellington,
you
big up
turn
yourself.
you turn troublemaker, how you laugh so now?
well,
The truth, no better Henry, no better Barry.
look, we start to rub off on each other after a while, you know. What Mr. Wellington said, his message to you was he can't wait, looking forward for you to do a presentation at the school soon. So he probably will be contacting you at some point, but he has big plans for you to do a presentation.
Anytime we
And
ready, man, I make sure say he has some argument for about the John Pattinger Entrepreneurial Center. Oh, I'm here rally all of the buglings them. We say right now, you kindly donated a space for the center set up. I mean, I know why you change your mind, but you have to change it again. Whereas the 68 come up and now and it only go put another jewel in the crown where you have on your head already. Because we crown you have STETHS already, you know, so we want to put one nice jewel in the center of the crown there.
all
Where
right,
you are going to get to do the John Pattinger Entrepreneurial Center and make Mr. Andrew Hoonis have to come down there to and remember the work with him father do. And him not forget the work with him father do too. So we want the National Entrepreneurial Center set up in a Jamaica, model of states. And Mr. Hansen and Jamaica National Bank has that proposal. We talked to Minister Grange about it, and no minister now, whatever we not talk about it. We talked to Mr. Hoonis about it already, and we're going to keep reminding him. So we need the National Entrepreneurial Center of Jamaica, or the Jamaica National Entrepreneurial Center, modeled off the states model, courtesy of John Pattinger. And especially now that Mr. Wellington ago put it in place with support, then the thing turn up.
all right. Honor and
So Mr.
respect.
Wellington, honor, love and prosperity. You know how the thing go. A family business we are depending on. So a family thing we are talking about, you can't come between we. Not even breeze can come between we, so they can't stand it.
All right, all right.
I say, yeah, no, yeah.
I
Yeah, yes,
definitely
man.
respect.
The message echoed across, man. You know.
All
But
right.
I just use a minute to just say, big up Mr. Wellington. Thanks for the work that I've seen happening in the school. You know, I should visit pretty soon. You know, when I take a quick walk through, and if I get a minute, you know, for a reason. I know it's a pandemic, but trust me, I've loved this school and the movement. As you can see, Yasus, is the school yard they are presenting. Look around here, as states that, you know.
Hello, I'm telling you some God is sincere man and the upkeep and the infrastructure and the cleanness and the discipline can be do a background check and we see we are going good in academics and in a sports and vocational area. So there's no doubt that Mr. Wellington do a splendid job and we see him rising at the sporting fraternity in Jamaica, partially due to the exemplary work that in those states. And we see the help of other people, including Sandra Ebanks. Me now want to start name you know, but the
No,
States
we don't want
family
to get
there,
that trouble.
yeah, do a splendid job and things. So we are challenged, Mr. Wellington to take another leap, and we are look forward to come as States, come do whatever you say you want if you do continuously. And we are shout out to the States community, make we rally around States all over again, and make sure so we give the support and in every area that we possibly can and strengthen States on the map. 'Cause when you strengthen your school, you know, you strengthen your own self. Because if the school pop down, then you pop down your own self.
All right, yes, sir. With that, I just want to give a shout out there again to Sister Wright, Vice President of the Alumni. So, you know, it's good that we have so much people on here, you know, that really the message we relate to and working together and work on integrity. You know, we make anything happen. Everything is possible. All right, back to you, Ian.
All right. Well, this probably I got three more, and then you could quote me on that. So, since we're talking about education, yes, sir, from your opinion, what do you think from I know Mr. Wellington on here, and so from an educational standpoint, what you see that can be done to get more poetry involved in the school, from that local level.
Oh, boy, is a good question. That you have no. You see, human beings has intelligence and reason and language, and that distinguishes us from the other animals. Now, the hard drive of the language and reasoning and intelligence were uploaded in poetic memory codes. And so what the poets do, is really a retention, a rehashing of that embedded memory codes and bringing them alive to help us to ventilate our soul, our intellect, our essence as social beings. Because communication is key to life and development. And so poetry plays an important role in that respect. And so we think that both for the language to creative, positive self-expression, poetry plays an important role along with the other arts. But because poetry is so intimately connected to language and culture, and reason and meter and measurement and logics and psychic centrality, then an intuition, then it means, and as Professor Fred Hicklin said, the poets always get the first insight. And so we think that in that regard, and STETHS and Mrs. McDonald show the example. And I'm trying to walk in that honor of that example. And Miss Lou and Bob Marley as a poet, and so many others, Claude McKay, and the first Jamaican poet who was born in 1700, who is really Francis Williams. Many people don't know this history. So poetry is a tool of self-esteem building, confidence building. Marcus Mosaic have used poetry as well, and to assert ourselves and to reconstruct our language and our thinking, because you think in the language that you speak, and the language that you speak shape and dictate your thinking. So poetry can play that role in the empowerment of the people, into the sense of social responsibility, into self-confidence, self-esteem, group esteem, and to be that social intervention tool of renewal and social transformation, which we desperately need.
All right, well said, well said. So that's definitely noted. And my second to last question is, for all the work you have done, this is might be a hard question for you, because I know all of your work. It's just like having kids, you love all of them. So I know all the work that you have done means something to you. But if you were supposed to go back and say what was one of the best work that you have done to date, what would that be?
It's good. Because look at now. How much children you have?
One.
Easy.
But if you had the ET, you couldn't do that. The ET have two.
Yeah.
If you go single out one of your picnic, then the problem that's in your house, man.
Trouble.
Oh, my works, but maybe you say two more works now have eyes and ears. But who's the son? Anyhow, all of them special to me still. But you see, overstanding Rastafari, due to I'm a man of faith and spirituality, and the doors where that book open for me, and the impact it have on me and the people who come in contact with it, I think is one of my outstanding work. And it allowed me to do some other serious work for humanity, with Oxford University. To be presented in the first and only Jamaican to present in the New Zealand Parliament. Would have said a book there, do some work for me when not even the music never do. But them complement each other. So, certainly Overstanding Rastafari would have stood out. And then as an event, I think Poetry in Motion, what about a jealous Jamaica Poetry Festival? Poetry in Motion was before you. In terms of my album, the album named Gift of Vision, plus Ancient Future, but all of them still were my name earlier. But in terms of social work now, we help revolutionize the education and penal justice system in the United Kingdom. That in itself was a significant work. The work we do in the Ministry of Education with the Culture Agency program would have stood out in our minds as well. So, yeah, now that you say it, and force me to look on it, we do a few things which we feel good that we could have do it still.
All right.
And them in a competition with them one another, so a good sign.
All right. All right. All right. So this is it now, Yasus. I wonder if I should get a bonus question in.
Show it, man. Yeah. Yasus,
Yasus,
just ball.
2020.
Control of the ball.
We already know that February, the last Sunday, February 28th, in Mandeville, that you're gonna have the poetry in motion. I am seriously considering that I might just jump in for my birthday. I might have to talk to my wife about that to see if she can, we can work something out. But what's next on the agenda for 2020?
Consideration, your virgin, make sure so we see you.
Well, and I said,
Yeah, what you say now?
so what next on the schedule for 2021? How that's looking out for you? What's in the works? If you can talk about it.
Yeah, so much spy and espionage and frenemy and this detractors about that sometimes it's good to talk about the work after it happen. However, having said that, obviously, Poetry in Motion and Jamaica Poetry Festival, but we're coming with another anthology of poetry, which is serious, the artwork, the content of it, it's not normal, so people can brace with that. We're currently working on an album, which will be unprecedented. It's like me experiment, plus me bring me expertise and the resources and the network to the fore. So that's an album which we hope can be a game changer. We're doing some online work for lunchtime conversation through Learning Links International. We're publishing an anthology with poets from Wales and John Austin Arledge, which was funded by Learning Links International, the Welsh government, as well as the Richard Douglas Estate and another funding agency in the UK. Rona Reid from the fund. So that book is coming out. It's called Building Bridges, and it came out of workshops that I did at John Austin Arledge in Clarendon, which is in Pennant, and from schools around the Pennant community in Wales. And so we put those poems written by the children in that anthology, and it's called Building Bridges, because our intention is really to use poetry and the arts and the music and the culture to build bridges between cultures and religions and ethnicity and people. One earth, one love, one humanity. So that is something that is coming out in the first quarter of the year. And maybe that you hold if you know, but only the things stay away. You know, the things stay away because I mean we have a book coming out that is introduced to Mother Earth as well. That is the first time I'm talking about it publicly too. It is already translated into 25 languages, including Farsi, Russian, Welsh, Italian, French, Greek, Amharic, Swahili. So we're really looking forward to that project as well.
All right. We give thanks and for health and strength to bring you through all those projects that you have coming up in 2021. So Yasus, this is a question from me to you. All the questions are from, but this one is just especially from me, Ian Weekly, the Olympian.
We can't wait to hear that.
So, Yasus Afari, what you want to be known for? Just give me what you'd want people to know you for, and what would the message that you want people to get from you when we say just tell you about the best version of yourself.
You know, so you're dangerous, but you're good youth. Yeah, you're good youth, man. I would say honor, love, and prosperity. One earth, one love, one humanity. Good over evil. Energy flows where attention goes. Accentuate the positive and use that to overcome the negative. Darkness upon top of darkness, darkness increase. Evil on top of evil, evil increases. Only good can conquer evil. Only light can comprehend darkness. So let us be ourselves and let us rise in goodness. And let us be the best that we can be, the best of ourselves. And let us look out to each other. It takes a community to raise a child. Ubuntu, I am because we are. So my work in that whole scheme would be one earth, one love, one humanity, with honor, love, and prosperity, truth and rights and justice, human rights and dignity and integrity. So if I could be remembered for any of those, and if I could contribute to the reinforcement of those attributes and virtues, then I would be totally honored.
All right. My respect and honor. And just want to say before Ian, so, I could just say my thank you from now, that I am very inspired. I am feeling empowered by you. I'm feeling, I can't put words to describe it, but I'm just really, it's a pleasure to really have this conversation with you. And just for, all the educational and the teaching and just the realness of everything, the real talk, put it like that. That it was an honor, man, and a blessing. And I'm just, as I said, health and strength moving forward. And as I said, my pleasure. Over to you, Ian.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
give thanks, my brother, and it's a mutual honor. You're most welcome, and thanks for having me as well. And I've been equally inspired, and I've learned so much, and it has been a good experience. So all the best to the I continued work in your agency, your sports agency, and the work that you're doing with Ian and Ian. Honor, love, and prosperity. And big up yourself, Onika, as she made the first link when Ian reached out to me.
Ian, you see them thing here, me make this sit there for the longest time, Ian. Because me not let you into the history. Like, if Yasus will let you in the history, but me just put you up, make him see. Why did you know him have another one here? Kind of Anna. But before me go down that road, Yasus, I just go and close it in this way. Before you address that question, I ain't seen no word on that, right? But with all of your knowledge and experience gained over the years of traveling the world and preaching and spreading the message, brotherly love and the Rastafari and faith, and just being an edutainer, as you would have put it, because you could not put it any better. Because some people don't understand the Rastaman language, But instead of understand, it's overstand, and we understand. So I don't want to get myself in trouble. So don't let me get myself in trouble. But with all of those knowledge and experience gained over those years, and I know tonight we have a lot of people listening, and the message is gonna be shared. But give it to a youngster who may have similar vision, like you, in terms of the music industry, or if you wanna be a dub poet, or just an entertainer, artist, whatever likes. What would your message be to such a youth who may be right on the program tonight or may be listening at a further date?
Right. Well, I think it may be sound like a cliche, but you have to know yourself and be yourself. You have to search yourself for the intrinsic values and attributes. In other words, the things that make you happy, that make you fulfilled, that make you feel valued and important. So, you have to look into yourself and come to grips with that. And then whatever you embrace as being your purpose and your calling in life, give it all you have got. It takes a village, so you have to link with, the community effort, the people that you will have met at school. And we have been through such great tribulation and we have such a long way to go. and coming from such a long way that it makes sense we be responsible. You know what I mean? Do something that at the end of the day, even if you're talking about the problems, you don't compound those problems. You help to alleviate those problems. So we have a responsibility to ourselves and to our children, born and unborn, to really use the talents at our disposal, to use our ability to allow us to be better people and to make us contribute something substantial and worthy of our presence here on the planet Earth in the human family. And we have to read, we have to write, we have to educate ourselves. And then we have to be, I would think, positive. We have to fulfill the purpose, whatever that is, and use all the resources at your disposal. But we think that at the end of the day, you should have contributed something to humanity and to planet Earth that you can make it a better place than how you confine it.
Ian, you're muted.
Yeah, Yasus, I hope you see that thank you there, before I go back to Onika. So Onika, Ian, another Stetsonian right here. But I leave this message with Yasus. He can finish on this one. If you have anything to say, it's up to him. I won't say anything on this one. But all I want to say, Yasus, is that thank you very much for really coming on here. As you said, the message was really through Onika Sinclair. That's who I contacted to get in touch with Yasus. When, I tell you, I don't know how to put it, Ian, but you know how this program we've been running. We say we're not gonna do it of ourselves, but as a positive energy would come in and flow, it would have lead us to say, hey, let's ask Yasus if he would come on here and just share with us, some of his journey and his road to greatness. Because as I say, you're an icon in yourself, Yasus. I don't know what it merit to get a man being a hero, but at the end of the day, your legacy, I know you're a hero within yourself already. And I really want to thank you for coming on this afternoon and blessing the platform, sharing with us, spending over 2.5 hours, which you could have been doing anything you wish to. We know that you're a busy man, but yet still you're so humbled that you're here on this platform with Ian and Ian, a platform that is just making its way out there. But I can tell you that we're gonna be here for a long while. We're here to stay, and with people like you coming on here and giving up yourself, I know that people will always be coming back to listening because it only gets better and better. And I really acknowledge your presence this afternoon. We have learned a lot personally. I've learned a lot. And as you said, I've been writing in my little book. There's a lot of things I have to look up. Neurologistic, I gotta look deep into it. Some more quantum physics, quantum entanglement. A whole lot of things in here, and you hold it. But I just want to say thank you, Yasus, and I'm gonna leave you with that message that's on the board here. So it's up to you. You have the final say, man.
Well, my brother, give thanks. You're welcome, and thank you as well. Thank you both. It has been a good experience, as we have said before, and it was worth the while, every minute of it. Big up to the STETHS community, Onika, Tanai, Mikaya, the whole network, the whole family, the whole links, everyone that is listening from Africa to parts of the Caribbean and elsewhere in the world. Give thanks to have been here, Mr. Wellington and the other members of the STETHS family. Give thanks, that's where it all started, the poetry that is. And so, I'm Yasus Afari, and I love this program, Ian and Ian, and we're inviting others to tune in and to follow and to support. We see a request on the board, close it a poem. We never know if that was a part of the script, but we have that in mind. So somebody can make a request if they're really serious about it, because we don't know which one of the children who want to step forward. All of the poems are with children. So, do you have any special request, Ian, Onika, Ian?
Well, I don't know if Onika is still on it because it's been a long program, but as I said, if you have one that is fitting, well, you see, Onika's a great program, so she's still there. Onika, if you want to say something, and Yasus, before we close out, if there's anything that you wanted to say and put out there, this is the moment that you can take the platform. It is yours, given to you we've been asking all the questions, but now is the time that anything you have going on, anything, this is the time to put it out there.
No, man, we give thanks. We now overstuff the people, them get enough so far. So we just give thanks that them tune in and them listen and them to continue support the idea, man, and what you think. No, here why me I go do that poem, you know. Because we say one earth, one love, one humanity. And we see where them are doing to the planet Earth. We see what happened to the climate injustice. We see what happened to the inhabitants of the earth who are a part of the environment. So we want to pay tribute to Mother Earth. Because at the end of the day, we are all inhabitants of one planet. At the end of the day, we are all members of one family called humanity. So the fitting point to embrace all of that, I think, is the earth is our mother and our friend. It's called Friends of the Earth. The earth is the garden of creation, purposefully clothed with lush green vegetation, roots firm enough to prevent critical soil erosion, all elements working in union for natural joy and satisfaction. The earth is our friend. We are the friends of the earth. The cyclic function of the earth's ecology is no mystery, like the organs of the human body, each working in perfect harmony in this our environmental community, of which the guardians and keepers are the children of humanity. The earth is our friend. We are the friends of the earth. The rivers, like blood streams flowing into the ocean, returning secretly to the fleshy bowels of the earth's creation, evaporating to the atmospheric breath of life. Sun, moon, and star, solid, liquid, and gas, flesh, blood, and spirit. The earth is our friend. We are the friends of the earth. The sun, like a devoted father, working from sunrise until sunset. And the moon, like a loving mother, working from dusk until dawn, shining it in the sweet embrace of her children, the stars. The earth is our friend. We are the friends of the earth. If we protect the earth, then the earth will protect us, clothe, feed, and shelter us. The earth is a garden of creation. If we keep the earth alive, then we will stay alive. The earth will keep us alive. The earth is our mother and our friend. We are the friends and the children of Mother Earth, of Mother Earth. Stick up in. Ian and Ian. Put on yourself on the screen. Put on yourself on the screen. We are going to fulfill history on the 26th of December 2020. We want to know if you sign this poem, but you are going to use the tongue and sign a vocal signature. And it is going to be binding on our conscience and in common law. So anytime I say the earth is our friend, on a sign on the line, we are the friends of the earth. We are going to make a renewed commitment to be more responsible to each other, for each other, to the earth, to humanity, to the creation. So let's go. 3 signature. After 3, 1, 2, 3. The earth is our friend.
We are the friends of the earth.
Earth is our friend. All right.
Earth is our friend.
We are the friends of the earth.
Listen, to this, you can't change your mind, you know. Because them have a thing called citizens arrest. So if we catch anyone who litter the place or being irresponsible, you sign the signature. So anytime the third one go about it, it's binding, you know, so you can't change your mind.
We
I mean, I want to tell no lie. On the Ian and Ian show tonight.
All right.
Final signature now. When I say the earth is our friend, you're going to sign the final one saying, we are the friends of the earth. And the people out there on the internet who are listening, you can join it too. and make the renewed effort to be more responsible to each other, to the country, to the environment, to the planet Earth, to the ozone layer, to the climate, to humanity, to creation. So here's the final one. The earth is our friend. We
We
are
are the friend
Friend
of
of the earth.
earth.
of the earth, of Mother Earth.
Of
Take care
Mother.
of her, and she will take care of us.
Amen.
All right. Can't say how much that you have came on here and just you know you know just even get us interacting and challenge us ourselves, because we normally asking the questions. So I am, I'm feeling a very uplift for your involvement, and as I said, I'm endorsed it. I'm saying it again, that I'm endorsing the earth, and we are the earth.
We are the friends of the earth.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
And
So,
we are, I mean, like what Cecil Writer said, we are the earth, we are an extension of the earth. Sometimes people forget that. We are the extension of the earth. We are part of Mother Earth. Mother Earth, and not just the earth. Mother Earth not exists independent of us. Are we independent of Mother Earth? We are an extension of Mother Earth. So the ill treatment of Mother Earth is slow genocide. So we are the earth, we are friends of the earth, we are children of the earth, custodians of the earth, keepers of the earth, a part of the earth, one love, one humanity.
Blessings, my brother. Couldn't say it
Honor,
better.
love, and prosperity. Ian and Ian, give thanks. God bless the item with innumerable episodes of Ian and Ian. More progress, more prosperity. STETHS on the 60th anniversary. Jamaica in the pandemic, scamdemic year, whichever are all of the above. Stay focused, make the food them cost. Stay strong. Guidance and protection.
all right.
Bless up yourself, as Mr. Garpi Cola said. Gary.
All right. We want to just say big up to the big. I know it's a big holiday Boxing Day, so thanks to all the viewers and in Jamaica and in the UK and all over that recognize and having a day. I guess it's the part of the season, so we give thanks for that. And again, case for again, just want to say that look, man, this is one of the best Boxing Day I have, that I remember, just able to to do something uplifting and positivity, and just excited to watch this interview back again and take some notes, and so like I said, guidance, health, and strength to you and the family, and all the loved ones that's so here for you.
Yeah, and really to all our audience that play full out tonight. I just want to say big up to you guys. You guys been following us. You guys been sharing the broadcast. And we really appreciate you guys. Just like any one of us, we could have find ourselves doing just about anything. But yet still we are here. We always have somebody who is able to inspire, motivate, educate, and just share their journey. You know. And everyone is here basically is gonna take away something from this interview with Yasus Afari tonight, and it is something, as he said, plant a seed, and that seed is gonna grow, and it's gonna come that it can drop some fruits, and fruits will have more seed, and it is just like that. So we say just share it, just like that. Share it with another to uplift somebody else. Don't keep the message to yourself. Just share it out there, because this was really an uplifting message, and it could never have come at a better time. At the ending of the year, basically, we have a new year coming up. We're just gonna wish everyone a prosperous new year, blessing, peace, love, and prosperity. This pandemic shall pass. Let's put it that way. Because we know a lot of people going through some challenges, but I just say it shall pass, and we're looking forward to a better year next year, 2021. Let that be the year, your year, the year that basically stop even thinking about self, but think about the next person who you can help. Let one help the other. And as I said, STETHS 68 coming up, Yasus, February, big thing. Ian coming down to Jamaica, right? So we're all on board. So respect everyone. Thanks and have a good afternoon. See you back tomorrow again. We have another Real Talk episode coming up 6 and 9. See you. Blessings.